Fan is live and local with Fan Sports Saturday. The Fan Sports Day of the Week. Oh, this is some clever branding. Here's your host. Place name here.
That name is Tito. That name is Cole. To my right, Tim May. Tim, there are ways that you can politely say someone's old.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways
you fixed to call me old?
No, there's a way you can impolitely say things are old.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this. And by the way, listeners, if you're younger, like Cole, you might not know this. The Dispatch, Columbus Dispatch, used to be an evening newspaper. We were a two-newspaper town. We had the Columbus Citizen-Journal in the morning, the Columbus Dispatch at night. Except for Sundays, when they would go out in the morning, when the CJ did not produce a newspaper.
Correct.
I, as a young person, delivered evening dispatches with articles from Tim May in it. That is how... wait, I'm old?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I threw papers on porches that had Tim May's articles in them.
Wow.
Tim, I always look when I get around you, I'm 13 again, and I'm following the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yes, that's how I feel.
Wow.
I love being around you. All right.
I was wondering why you rode your Schwinn bike here today.
That's what I did. I rode the Schwinn bike here, and I still have the paper bag. By the way, that one guy got mad. I rode through his yard every time. He got upset. But we're not going to talk about that now.
Yeah, we had a German Shepherd that didn't like to see me show up because I finally got tired of him chasing me. When I had my paper out for the Lufkin News, yes. I got a little water pistol with ammonia in it. Boy, that did the trick.
Boy, that's a savvy
right on the nose, man.
All right, we got a big show lined up. Lots of talk about college basketball, college football, the NFL. We're going to have John Gerber on later on to talk about golf betting. Right now, though, we're going to get, because tonight at 6 o'clock, we got over at the Horseshoe, we've got the CBJ and the Red Wings. So we're going to bring on Aaron Portzline. He is for the Athletic, and he has been with the Jackets since day zero. Porty, I want to ask you about, I don't think I've ever asked you this question before, but you for a long time, Porty, you were Columbus Clippers beat writer. Traveled with the team, wrote about the team, lived in that.
That's correct.
Okay, when hockey comes in, when we know we're getting the Jackets and everything, what is it about that intrigues you? Because I don't know if you were a hockey fan growing up. Maybe you were, maybe you weren't, but you're entrenched in it now. But what is it about the beat that led you to it, and was it difficult in the beginning?
So I was 9 years old when the U.S. won the gold medal at Lake Placid. Instantly became a hockey fan.
Okay.
Thank God the sports editor of the Columbus Dispatch, Danny Goodwin, came to me when apparently he liked how I was covering the Clippers and said, what would you think about covering the National Hockey League? And I said, yes. And he told me they were going to hire somebody from outside who had NHL experience. That was Michael Arace, who covered the Hartford Whalers. And I was thrilled beyond belief in 1998, 2 years before the Blue Jackets came to start covering the Blue Jackets. I've done a ton of other stuff, Ohio State football, and I was thinking this week, Tim May. I don't think I've ever been in that press box at Ohio Stadium when Tim May wasn't present.
Uh-oh.
And I'm hoping you're coming over today.
No, I won't be there. You know what I'm doing, Porty? I'm, excuse me, Mr. Portzline. I'm babysitting my two grandsons, Owen and Charlie. So my son Kyle and his wife can go to the game. They asked me politely, and I said yes. Number two, I was at the Tennessee-Ohio State game in mid-December, and the temperature then was like, I think before the game was 24 degrees and dropping, or 26 and dropping. And I doubt that I would have had a spot in the press box tonight. And number two, I don't know if I'd want to watch hockey from way up there. It's too bad the hockey puck isn't about 5 times bigger than it is. I think it's going to be tough to keep up with, but that's another story. But no, I think it's extremely special, man, that they're doing this. But I remember when you jumped on the hockey beat way back when, and I encouraged you big time because, you could make it your own. You know what I mean? And
100%.
yeah, and boy, you parlayed that big time. But what I've never remembered. I've tried to remember this when I've talked to some people about you who find you intriguing. Yeah, there are people out there, Porty, like that. Did you know anything about hockey before you started covering it? Because I didn't. I was intrigued by the sport, but I didn't know a thing about it when it came to town. Go ahead.
I mean, I wouldn't even call myself an expert now, but I certainly wasn't then. I understood the basic rules of the game. I knew the stars of the game. What I didn't know, and you don't know this until you start covering it, is just sort of the ins and outs, the rhythms, the way coaches talk and think and players talk and think. That's all stuff. But you know what I really appreciated about this? I don't think I ever made too big of an ass out of myself doing it, but I think it was very beneficial in a market that also didn't really know the sport. Many people at a granular level.
Yeah.
To have somebody covering it that would ask the questions that they may ask also.
Yes.
You bring a person who's covered it their entire life, who has been entrenched in the game. They're almost all immediately at the start writing above the level of many people who were like, wait, what is offside? Right. So there was a growth and a learning there together, I think, but I did know enough to sort of ask questions. There were times, frankly, when I would ask a question and the original coach, Dave King, would look at me and go, all right, come on back. And we would go back to his office and he'd sit down and flip on the film and show me some stuff and explain some stuff, which was an incredible experience and benefit to me.
Yeah, I liked him. I mean, I did very little on the Blue Jackets. You know what I mean? And speaking of that, the slewing move, you remember that when A-Race caught me out on that? I mean, I don't know why you got to have. I don't know why. I was just trying to help out, right? And he makes an ass of me. But that is what it is. But the interesting thing was, you remember you were around. You remember when they were trying to get a hockey team, and the Hartford Whalers, I think, were one possibility, and they were talking about refurbishing a hangar at Port Columbus where they could play, and I mean, isn't it crazy? Because we had no major arena then. And isn't it crazy what this town has come to now? It's
crazy, and as goofy as that was, if you really think about it, they won the cup a few years later.
Yeah,
they won the cup.
Exactly.
Carolina did,
instead of building something from scratch. Yeah.
Right. I mean, imagine that parade down the tarmac at Port Columbus would have been amazing.
Yeah. Hey, one day, real quick, what intrigues me about tonight's game is, I know you've talked about this ad nauseum probably, but this game matters. I mean, it matters tonight. It's not just I'm just wondering how these teams are going to balance the fact they're going to be, oh my goodness, 95,000 people, and yet the final score of this is not an exhibition for them at all. Right. It's the opposite of that, right?
Yeah, well, it is, and it's such a spectacle. And Drew, Dean Everson has been telling his players, this is his third one, so it's probably easier for him to take this approach. But he wants his players during timeouts, hey, listen to the coach, sure. Look up, look around, soak this in, but then get back to work again, because it does matter, and you can't get lost. The one thing that was really beneficial yesterday to them practicing, they practiced later in the day, 4:30, which is a couple hours before the puck's going to drop tonight, but still closer to what it's going to be like condition-wise, sun-wise, when the sun is no longer on the field. To get acclimated to the depth perception, that's a big thing, because usually the backdrop in Nationwide Arena and other hockey rinks are the fans, right? They're up against the glass, and just that sort of, it's like the batter's eye in baseball. It gives you that's your depth perception. The fans are away from the glass in this, obviously, and so it can be a little bit disconcerting. They also talk about the ice surface, how it feels. It's built on a platform, not on solid footing like it is in an indoor rink. So it feels hollow, and just the sound of it takes getting used to for some guys. I don't think the ice is great, but the one thing about the NHL is if it's bad for one team, it's bad for both. So big adjustment yesterday, and but still, when they get out there tonight, They haven't seen it with fans in the building yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the real different feel. But it's probably going to be sloppy. There's going to be bad reads and turnovers. There's going to be some Matthew Olivier excitement. He wants to have that Roman Coliseum fight before 90,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be some chaos, but it should be beautiful chaos. And again, it goes both ways.
Porty, have a great time out there today, buddy. It'll be a great time tonight, I'm sure. I know you're on 2 o'clock or so, I believe, with Reeser and those guys out there. So they will ask you more questions, non-dispatch related, but you got them here today because I'm with Tim May. So thanks so much, Porty. Have a great day today, bud.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you very much. Cole, by the way, it's the first time Porty said he loved me. So I'm feeling a little bit verklempt over here.
Porty's elite. Porty's elite.
I know he is. You and Porty are both elite. Cole, another thing. God, I know we're late. I'm just going to tell you this right now.
We got 3 hours. It's all right.
No, but listen, though. I've got Tim May and Aaron Portzline. Okay? They're like Woodward and Bernstein when I'm at the dispatch. They are I'm there working at the dispatch as like a part-time hack taking high school scores. And Tim May and Porty in the building? Telling you, dude.
Who was Ben Bradley, by the way?
You're in good company today.
Who's Ben Bradley in that group?
I guess it'd be Strode, right? Smoke. Yeah. George Strode.
Yeah, George Strode.
The late George Strode, R.I.P., great guy who hired me. But yes, we always called him Smoke Cole because he would just disappear. Yeah. You would not see him leave. He would leave for the day, and no one knew it.
We call that an Irish goodbye.
An Irish goodbye. That's
Ben
perfect.
Bradley was more Ray Stein, actually. When you really
that's fair.
It.
That is very fair. Ray Stein, great sports editor. Also, it was Smoke, and then it was Strode, and then it was Goodwin, then it was Stein.
Yeah.
All right, and now Laurie Schmidt's there.
What's a newspaper?
Exactly. See, I knew. See, this is why I hate working with young guys. Coming up next,
clearly he doesn't have a bird.
We are with the legend Tim May. So, of course, we're going to talk about Ohio State football a lot. How much longer can Larry Johnson do this? We'll do that next. Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now, you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do? Like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking. And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544.
Hoops fans, are you ready to score big and get lucky this March? What's up? It's T-Bone. I'm here to tell you that Bud Light will be holding mini hoops challenges at bars and restaurants across town over the next several weeks with one goal in mind, to send one lucky local winner to Las Vegas where they'll compete for $10,000. Take your shot at March Madness glory. This week, join Bud Light on Thursday night as they take over Pastimes Crosswoods on Campus View Boulevard. They'll be there from 7 to 9 p.m. and have a mini hoops basketball challenge that'll give you a shot at a Vegas trip and $10,000.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
You're invited to Circle K's Inner Circle Members Celebration. On March 6th, Inner Circle members across Columbus will get an exclusive 40 cents off per gallon from 6 a.m. until 11:59 p.m. Want to join the party? Just download the Circle K app and create an account to join Inner Circle. Don't miss your chance to save 40 cents off per gallon on March 6th all day. Sign up now. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit the Circle K app for details.
ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once with over 50 feet of video wall and more than 30 TVs. Endless chances to win big. Show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings or create your perfect bracket for a shot at Penn Cash. Enjoy food and bucket specials all tournament long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table now at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
The Buckeye Show.
When you have a guy that's as good as Jeremiah Smith is, we're just trying to come up with a sane place for our superlatives.
The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light and sponsored by Care Source.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You know, as much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 or free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
What does living your best nonstop life mean to you? Cheering on your team at that big game? A music festival with friends? A family vacation? Or maybe a vacation from your family? Live your best nonstop life with low fares and nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com.
Non-stop flights from Columbus to Fort Lauderdale, one way for as low as $44. Must be purchased by 4/24/2025 for travel between 3/13/2025 and 8/17/2025. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It might be the start of meteorological spring on March 1st, however, feeling more like winter, as daytime highs will struggle to get above the freezing mark. We'll be right around 32 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and there will be chances of flurries and isolated snow showers, which eventually those chances tapering off as we go into later tonight. But overnight, partly cloudy skies and teens for the low, and then getting into your Sunday, more sunshine with temperatures right around 35 degrees and a lot less wind. Stay warm, everybody. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Fan Sports Saturday. Tito and Tim May with you, not Tim Hall. That's an insult. Tim May. Cole back there. By the way, after our show, we're on until noon. It's Fan Sports Saturday-er. Or Fan Sports Saturday, whatever it is. It's another one from out live out there on campus for the game at Ohio State's home field, the Horseshoe. We've got the Stadium Series game between the Jackets and the Red Wings. Can't wait for that.
Hope they got a heater for Rothman out there. I think he's doing part of that show with Rimmer, right?
He is doing a show, and so
I think it's going to be listened to, must listen to radio.
It is. And also at noon, though, when it's going to be Reeser and Shake and Bake, Ryan Baker, and Tyvis Powell on that one. Anyway, I wanted to ask you about this because you've been covering Ohio State since the Horseshoe was built. And
since it was refurbished.
Whatever it was. I don't know. I'm just saying, for a long time.
No.
Larry Johnson, the defensive line coach, who has done an associate head coach for the Buckeyes, has done very well and had a lot of success in recruiting people. And as much as I said, in a polite way, you were old, Larry Johnson, also old. He's like, what, 72, 73, 73, isn't he?
I think he's around 73. No one knows for sure.
Right. I think there's some little bit of controversy around that. But nonetheless, Larry Johnson, though, still does great work, brings in guys. The Bosa guys he brought in. He does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
How much longer can Larry Johnson do this?
As long as he feels like it, the way as a drift I get, from conversations with Ryan Day over the last many years and stuff. I mean, they still believe he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time at that spot. I mean, you can argue anybody can be that, but the bottom line is, turn on the video, man, and watch the defensive line, the last, whatever you want to call it, the last half of this season, and the way a mature group of guys who've been under Larry Johnson tutelage took over the games. I mean, even in the Michigan game, I think he's still at the top of his game in terms of coaching. I think the guys who play for him believe that also. I think they testified to that. Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau testified to that at the Combine this week during their interview day. And Edric Houston's coming up. He's going to be one of the greats. We've watched Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson bide their time. Both of those guys probably could have left after last year when they found out JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer were coming back. Instead, they stuck around because, number one, they like working with Larry Johnson. Number two, hey, you wait your time, good things can happen for you and stuff. And, that's a pretty good, in my opinion, a pretty good climate in that defensive line meeting room. They've lost a couple guys. Obviously, Hero Canoe left, but they've got guys coming up. And, I think they feel pretty good about the group they're going to put on the field again this year. It's going to be a young group, totally opposite of what you had the last couple of years. But, Larry, there's been an ilk in the media aspect of Ohio State. A few folks who've tried to get Larry Johnson run off for like the last 5 or 6 years, which or at least in their minds, Ohio State would be better without him. And I don't buy that at all. Never bought into that. If you're ever around Larry Johnson, he has his opinions. He coaches with a fervor, though, that is obvious to anybody, and it's obvious the defensive linemen are paying attention to him, which is the most important part, right?
Sure.
And he's like that older professor who still brings it, And so all this talk that it has come up every year for the last many years baffles me. And I think you step away when the old line, when you get up in the morning and you suddenly don't want to go to where you've been going for like all these many years, you don't feel that fire in your belly. That's when you step away. And obviously, I think if Ryan Day has really matured, by the way, as a head coach over the last several years. If Ryan Day thought
he's evolved,
yes, yeah, but matured is more the word I would use.
Oh, sure, yeah,
because. Anyway, bottom line is, I think he would have had a long, hard talk with Larry Johnson if, in fact, he thought he was slipping. And I don't think he believes he's slipping. Do you have confrontations when you have talented people in positions like on a coaching staff? Do you have confrontations occasionally about which way things should go? Absolutely you do. If you don't have a very healthy situation.
You want alpha dogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And but you can't argue, in my opinion, with the results that Larry Johnson has produced basically for the most part year in and year out. And this isn't one old guy defending another old guy. I'm just looking at it, as I say, turn on the tape. Look at the disruptive force that the Ohio State defensive line was especially the last 4 games of this season. It was crazy. Look at how they dominated Texas. It was supposed to be a really good running team. Yep. Look at how they dominated Texas. And all 4 of those starting guys could be drafted sooner rather than later. That's crazy when you think about it.
Cole, I like having you on because youthful and talented, Cole, by the way. Youthful and talented with a capital T.
Thank you.
Do you know where Larry Johnson was for 18 years before coming to Ohio State?
I'm going to guess just because his son went there, Penn State.
That's where he was. He was at Penn State.
Gonna guess.
He was at Penn State. And so I know we make a lot about the Jim Knowles to Penn State from Ohio State.
Yeah.
But we've got Larry Johnson 2014 coming here to this. Okay. Now, I believe Ryan Day.
You remember the dynamic there, right? I mean,
yeah.
Larry got passed over for
numerous times.
Exactly.
Yes. And so I know the way Ryan Day likes to promote from within and likes to bring guys up. Who's next? Is there somebody on the staff that's the next Larry Johnson? You don't think so?
Because they've had some guys come and go and stuff.
Right.
No, but I don't think there's a. I think if that was to if Larry was to step away, let's say tomorrow and stuff, I'm just like a Ryan Day when Tony Alford left in the middle of spring,
right
at the beginning of spring last year. He didn't just Ryan Day promoted himself to running backs coach for a while, and then he goes out, in my opinion, stepped up. Carlos Loughlin.
He's been great.
Carlos Loughlin brought it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy is the real deal. He is different, and he is real. And I don't think Ryan is looking at this. I mean, I'm sure he would look at it like he did that opening, and get someone and determine. I mean, Billy Fessler getting named the quarterback coach was a no-brainer in my opinion. Oh, because he in essence was last year.
Will Howard loves him.
Well, of course he does, but he in ipso facto was the quarterback coach for the most part last year, because Chip Kelly was also the offensive coordinator. So that to me was a no-brainer. And everybody you talk to about Billy Fessler thinks he's very talented. So, but I'm sure Ryan would look long and hard. The great thing about coaching staffs now is you can stockpile people on your staff.
Yeah.
There are a couple of guys that are going to be helping coach the offensive line with Tyler Bowen. Brought in as the line coach. But there are a couple of guys like Marcus Johnson going to be helping coach that have been brought in now. Those guys can actively coach a lot, and I'm not sure you can have. I think you can't have too many people in the soup. You know what I mean?
Yep.
in a room.
Cooks in the kitchen?
Yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen. But as long as there's a head cook and everybody knows it, that's what matters. And the thing about it is what really changed for this defense last year in the middle of the year, from my perspective, was Ryan Day putting his foot down after the Oregon game on what he did and didn't want to see. Now, specifics of that, I'm not sure, except I know he wanted to see a hanging Chad, which is a safety over the top almost all the time, which is what he got from that. And also, I think the defensive line play, when you ask the players, things got simpler instead of more complex. For example, I'm talking about defensively, but kind of like getting athletes in the right spots and letting them play, turning Caleb Downs loose. You know what I mean? And by turning him loose, I mean putting him in places, that hanging backside middle linebacker at times. I mean, that was crazy, but it was genius in a lot of respects, and letting him do what he does best. A lot of things changed from a dynamic standpoint on that defense, but it actually became a simpler thing for the players when you talk to the players about it. So I think Ryan would look, long and hard for that next guy, because he knows it's an important hire.
But if you had on your bingo card at home Tim May saying ipso facto today, you can go and put a chip on that one next to the free space, I hope. Coming up next in 2 minutes, will the men's hoops teams end up making the NCAA tournament? What happens if they don't? Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more of the good life to your life, so you can bring home more perfectly plump and flavorful produce picked for precise freshness, beautifully marbled, beyond brag-worthy certified Angus beef, and more must-have money-saving M-Perks rewards. Because saving more on local favorites is good, but bringing home more of what you love in every trip, that's the good life. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Roll Up to Win is back at Tim Hortons. We're rolling out great prizes like a 2025 Ford Bronco, $500 daily jackpots, Xboxes, and more. You can earn rolls with your purchase of an eligible hot or cold beverage and favorite breakfast item. A whole new way to earn rolls this year. Visit your neighborhood Tim's and download the app for great food and more opportunities to roll up to win. No purchase necessary. Tim Hortons app required. See rules on app for details. Entered by 3/23/25. Sponsored by Tim Hortons.
These days, it feels like everyone is talking about how the American dream of homeownership has become out of reach for so many of us. Well, Rocket is trying to give us more of a chance to own our homes. They're making homeownership simpler and more accessible to more people, turning renters into owners. Rocket believes that every one of us deserves a shot at the American dream. So, are you ready? Own the dream. Visit Rocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
All right, it's Fan Sports Saturday. It's Tito. It's Tim May. What are we going? We're going Cold Bart. That we're going cold. We're going to do Cold Bart now. Is that that's the new
right?
thing?
That's right.
Not White Bart. Not Sea Bart.
Not Black Bart either.
You're not Black Bart. I got you. Black Bart was a bad guy. Tim, you would get the reference. They didn't get it last week.
Yeah, I know.
You know who Black Bart is.
Yeah, but I like it'll hold, Cole. It'll hold. I get that reference?
I don't get that.
Robert Duvall said it. Days of Thunder.
I was going to go. I never saw Days of Thunder.
Tom Cruise.
I would say
Trickle.
Sea Bart. I like that one better than Cold Bart.
I get that one a little bit.
I think Sea Bart's better.
All right.
Not Sea Bass. Not
No.
Sea Section.
No.
Much
I like
different.
Black Bart.
You like Black Bart? I like White Bart.
Yeah.
He's a white guy.
Yeah, but I like Black Bart.
I know Black Bart though was a bad dude.
Yours.
He's a bad guy. All right. Ohio State men's basketball.
Yeah.
So they are currently sitting at, like, as far as the bracketology goes with Joe Lunardi, who does it for ESPN, Ohio State is like one of the last four teams in the tournament. And they've got them playing in the play-in game in Dayton against Texas, which will be a rematch of an earlier game that they played when Ohio State
from the college
knocked
football
them out.
playoff.
Well, that too. You're right. There you go. Sorry. You're right. I forgot who I was talking to. They beat Texas A&M 80-72 to start the season.
Right.
I think that game was in a neutral site. Yes. So anyway, Ohio State is right now 16-13, 8-10 in the conference. They've got Nebraska on Tuesday.
Right.
Nebraska beat them on the road. It was in Lincoln, 79-71. Then they play at Indiana on Sunday, March 8th. I think that's when that is. Or Saturday, March 8th. Sunday, March 8th. Anyway.
I think it's Saturday.
That's okay. Saturday, March 8th. Indiana beat them here 77-76, but they've got these two games. I contend, Tim, they have to win those two. Get to 18-13, get to 10-10 in the conference, and then win one or two games, probably two, in the Big Ten to get to 20 wins before they'll be in the tournament. What do you think?
I think that's accurate. Because this team is a little bit of a quandary.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I mean, how long can you hang on that win over Texas A&M, right? I mean, that happened. What was
Texas,
that, November?
Yeah. They lost Texas A&M. They beat Texas.
Yeah, beat Texas. Yeah, but how long can you hang on that? I mean, that's so. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, let's put it this way: I would think there would be urgency right now to finish with two straight wins over Nebraska and Indiana going into the tournament, and maybe one win in the tournament could get you in, because there's a lot of other eggs in the basket. Not just Ohio State, but I thought they should have gotten in last year. I even told Jake Diebler that after he got named the head coach. Thought they should have gotten in ahead of Michigan State based on the way Ohio State finished.
Right.
The regular season last year, and the damage it did in the Big Ten tournament. And I still contend that should have been the case. So I think this should be their consolation if they win. Basically, getting that stopping that losing streak was huge, obviously. Mm-hmm. But if they beat Nebraska and Indiana and win one game in the tournament, Big Ten tournament, I think they should be in. I'm stammering all over the place because there's too many tournaments in my head right now.
I know. We talked about on the break with all these other ones, like the college basketball crown and stuff like that.
Right.
Here's what's weird for me, Tim, is that Ohio State should be rooting for Indiana right now. Indiana's got 3 games left.
Yeah.
At Washington, who's the last place in the Big Ten, at Oregon, and at home against Ohio State. I think that Ohio State right now would be the 10 seed. I think that's where they want to stay. If you are the 9 seed, you get a first-round bye.
Yeah.
So you play 9 versus 8. Win that game, you've got to play the top seed, Michigan State, in all likelihood.
Right.
So you might get 1 win there. If you're the 10 seed, you open up against the 15 seed, which right now would be USC. Ohio State's already beaten.
Right.
And then you would play the 7 seed, which in this case right now would probably be Illinois. Could end up being Oregon. We'll see. But it's a much more winnable game. I think if I'm Ohio State, yes, I want to go 2-0, but I want to stay in the 10 or even the 11 seed range. I'd rather be there than the 8 or the 9.
Yeah, I see where you're going there, but kind of reminds me of the college football playoff. Ohio State was 8, and it basically had the toughest bracket, to win through to get to win the national championship, and did it. So you got to play somebody sometime. But I agree. I mean, I think it's important to have a shot in that first game in the tournament, and feel superior, for want of another term.
Right.
I mean, and the thing about it is like they're, but. They don't, in my opinion, they don't match up very well at all with Illinois, for example. And,
sure, they don't. No doubt.
So you can play a team that's a lesser seed and still not match up very well with them. That's the problem with this Ohio State team this year is the matchup situation. It is some nights it's obvious that they don't match up, and but I think with Nebraska and Indiana they definitely match up. So I'm with you. I think that 10 seed would be. That'd be ideal for them.
Yes. So the Indiana, though, to keep winning, and then Ohio State beats them, so they still finish behind Indiana. But if Indiana loses a couple of these before they play Ohio State, then it's going to screw everything up.
Right.
The Ohio State game is USC, by the way. Great win for Ohio State. They blew a big lead like they've done all year long. They don't rebound like they've done all year long.
Right.
They're not done all year long.
But they didn't blow it totally.
They didn't blow it totally. Tim, do you know
what? Well, yes, they did. It got tied. But
do you know what USC shot on 2-point field goals?
No.
They were 20 of 27.
Yeah.
74% on 2-pointers.
Well, how about Ohio State in the first half of that game?
Oh, yeah. They were it's great.
It was nuts.
Yeah, it was great. But I'm saying Ohio State's going to have to defend better. If they want to have any shot,
so to speak.
Yeah, look, the Aaron Bradshaw thing is befuddling to me.
Yeah.
With how big that, what is he, 7'2", 7 foot, whatever he is. How tall is he?
I think 7'1".
7'1", okay. He's 7'1". He plays 11 minutes against USC and gets 1 rebound. The Ohio State bench in that game, the bench players played 53 minutes. They had 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 fouls.
There you go.
You can't win that way.
They won. They got enough though.
I know they did.
I think they won that game.
You can't. No, but you can't though. Even though they did, I'm still saying you can't. It's impossible to win that way.
I think Bradshaw's still a little discombobulated. You know what I mean? For
There's
want
a
of
lot
another
going
term.
on. Yes,
exactly. And you got to let him kind of play into it. Number one, number two. You never know when he is going to act together. But I remember last year the kid who went to Tennessee. What's his name?
It was
Dalton Connect.
No. The kid who went to Tennessee from Ohio State.
Yeah.
The big guy, 7-footer.
Yeah, he finally got his act together, and it made such a difference. And all of a sudden, he was gone.
God, I would love to have him this year.
Yes, exactly. What was the kid's name?
I can't remember his name. I'm looking it up right now.
I'm not a basketball.
No, I know it's okay.
But anyway, the bottom line is, if your big guy does finally get going, you got something. Late in the year, you got something going for you. See, I think this team could be better.
Felix Okpara.
There we go, Okpara.
Yeah.
I was going to say Mecca Okpara, but I knew it wasn't a Mecca.
Yeah,
that's fine. I get
his brother
too.
Felix.
We're all old. Yes,
yeah, Felix the cat Okpara.
That's who it is, right?
But the bottom line is, you never know when it's going to kind of come together for a team, and a guy is going to step up, and so I think this team definitely has a shot.
I think we have Scooty Penn on tomorrow. I saw him at the Ohio State Maryland men's game. And I told him at the time, when this team is playing well, it reminds me a lot of his Final Four team.
Yeah,
they've got a great point guard. They've got you've got Mobley, who's a scorer like Red was.
Right.
You're missing the Ken Johnson is what you're missing.
Right.
You don't have that. But if they can get that going, I think this team has that kind of potential.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I mean,
and here's the thing. They've blown leads, but they've been in games. They've had, that's my point. To finish, of course, we were sitting there saying the same thing about Chris Holtman's team, right?
No doubt, yeah.
A year ago, and in the several years before, prior to that. But but the man, it could be big. They may look back on that USC game and go, you know what, we blew it again, but then we didn't totally blow it.
Right.
And we had what we needed at the end. Some guys made some plays, made a huge free throw, made some plays, and everything changed. So you never know what's going to be the catalyst that flips a team around. And that was on the road after a long stay in Southern California. So, you got to believe, in my opinion. I mean, I look at things positively more than, and I know a lot of people give me a lot of grief about that, but I look at things positively. I saw positive stuff coming out of that win at USC, and whether it can carry over remains to be seen.
That's where you can flip it around. Like, you can look at it and say, okay, it's good that they won despite having a crappy bench and not rebounding well.
Yeah.
Or you could say it's lucky they won, and if they do that again, they're going to lose. So
but what stands out is people stepping up and making plays.
Yes,
you got to make plays and baskets. It always comes down to making baskets. I mean, you remember where Thornton had the little dribble exercise and then had the air ball at the end of the a couple of games ago and stuff. You're going, I'm looking at Thornton, by the way. He looked like he was better shooting off the pass the other night than he was creating his own stuff. So maybe they found some stuff like that they're going to go to. So all kinds of ways they can go.
If they can get the rebounding figured out, if they can do that.
Rebounding's always key.
They've got the guard play that's good enough to make a run in the tournament. They've got veteran guard play, guys that can score.
Yeah.
And it's just a question of, can you box out?
And the way Thornton came on at this time a year ago was huge, but Akpara was huge part of that.
He was.
I'm using the word huge because I can't think of anything else, but a major part of that run last year at the end of the year.
Coming up next, a Super Bowl winning quarterback has decided where he will play next season. We'll do that next. Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not.
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gerdes?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gerdes was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be me.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros, the pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on Post cereal or Kroger brand peanut butter. Select varieties are only $1.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring's going to be here before you know it. I know it feels cold now, but before too long, you're going to be outside running around, jogging, wanting to do golf, explore time with your family, get outside and do the things you love. Just be active. And listen, a lot of my friends, they're asking me about QC Kinetics joint treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. And if you're wondering, maybe you could be a good candidate, let's see if the answer is yes to any of these questions. Quality of life impacted by chronic pain, knees, hips, back, shoulders, other things. Trouble sleeping, walking, day-to-day movement? Check. Next, avoiding surgery, the pain, the downtime? Check. Most importantly, do you miss doing the things I talked about when the spring and summer are here? Check. Don't wait. If you answered yes to one or any of those, you'd be a great candidate. You can go in there, go to QC Kinetics, ask for their free consultation, find out what it's all about, learn about the latest advances in regenerative medicine. They've got locations in Dublin and Gehenna, or you can go to qckinetics.com/Columbus, or better yet, call 380-208-4544.
Hey friends, Beamer here, and last week I told you I'd be down 50 pounds, and guess what? I was right. Not only did I hit it, I blew past it. I'm now down 53 pounds, all thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. Another 4.5 pounds last week alone, and I'm barely 3 months into the program. Some plans have you drop 4 or 5 pounds in 1 week, but still to be losing like this 12 weeks in, that's pretty wild. And you know what? Honestly, it's been pretty easy. No workouts, no skipping out on life, no injections. I lost 53 pounds by just eating to lose weight with Awaken 180. That's it. I listen to my coach, make a few adjustments here and there, and keep watching the number on the scale drop every week. Maybe you're rocking a size 55 pant and want to see a 48 again. Maybe you're rocking a 44 pant and want to see a 38 again. Maybe you're swimming in triple XLs and thinking about life in an XL. Trust me, you can do it. Awaken 180 is simple, the coaches are awesome, and there's really no work involved. You can make the call today, 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Fan Sports Saturday, Tito, Tim May, C. Bart, Cole Bart.
C. Bart run.
Black Bart, as Tim wants to call him, joining us also as well back there.
Well, he has on that Steelers. He has on that Steelers
awesome,
stuff,
which is beautiful. Yeah. I teared up when I saw it.
Yeah,
as a Steelers fan.
You really did.
I'm a Steelers fan. Yeah, I did tear up.
I was kind of hoping that we'd get that quarterback that we're talking about right now. I was 50-50. Some days I was in on it. Some days I wasn't in on it.
I was going to say, as Steeler fans, y'all probably went through a whole, if you were crying and you teared up, you probably went through a whole box of Kleenex.
All we do is rack up winning seasons. Well, anyway.
You mean non-losing seasons?
Yeah, okay, non-losing. That's a better way to put it. Matthew Stafford is staying with the Rams. He has restructured his deal. So Stafford off the market. There were talk that he maybe the Raiders. There was talk maybe the Giants. But anyway,
even the Broncos, right?
The Broncos were thrown out there. A lot of people. Anyway, so now he is locked in with the Rams. Okay, Seabart, tell me, where do you want the Steelers to go? Do you want? I'll tell you where. First, I want them to sign Fields. I don't care if it's
really.
It maybe the backup again. Sign Fields, maybe though.
He's your biggest priority. He's the guy you said first.
That's the one I would say first, yes. I still love Justin Fields. I still think he needs I still think so, yes.
Oh, man.
If you want to sign Kirk Cousins for a year, you get him on the cheap like you did Wilson because the Falcons are on the hook for everything. What do you want to see next year in the quarterback room for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, I will entertain this question considering they have the number 21 pick because one way or another, I do want to draft a good quarterback.
Okay.
I'll tell you this, and I know I'm Notre Dame guy, whatever. I'm not saying they would do this,
Right.
But if some crazy scenario happened where Will Howard went off the board at 21, I would not complain about that. The only thing that really scares me about Will Howard, because he was so good this year, his accuracy was insane. He's a good athlete. The only thing that scares me is that he was basically a 3.5-year starter at Kansas State and is kind of a one-year wonder here.
Sure.
In fact, Kansas State chose the younger quarterback, Avery Johnson, over him. So the one-year wonder aspect scares me, but I don't want to draft Jalen Milroe. Nope. I really don't want to draft him. Jackson Dart, not so much. So, but at some point, we have to break this cycle. But I guess this isn't going to be the year. So I guess it's going to be something like you're saying, where it's another one-year stopgap. It might just be Russell Wilson again, which would just be the second one-year stopgap that he's been. So I'm tired of these experiments, but I don't know what's next.
So, Tim, with Will Howard now, 3.5 years at Kansas State. I remember interviewing him in June, July, somewhere in there at Cardale Jones' softball charity thing he does.
Extravaganza.
Yes, extravaganza. There we go. That's a good word for it. Anyway, I remember interviewing him there, and he said, he was very respectful, said, no disrespect to Kansas State.
Right.
But I felt like I had to do it all.
Right.
And he also said, in the short time I've been at Ohio State at that time, he said, I've gotten more coaching than I got in my 3.5 years at Kansas State. Is it possible? And I understand what Cole's saying. He 3.5 years at Kansas State, 1-year wonder at Ohio State. But is it possible the 1-year wonder is what Will Howard can do?
Here's the thing. This is what's very intriguing to me is that Ryan Day almost handpicked Will Howard. He saw something in him that a lot of people didn't. When you watched Will Howard at Kansas State, it was like he was wearing for that offense, and Avery Johnson's running the same problem. It's like you're wearing a 20-pound pack on your back because you got to carry the load. I mean, all the way through.
Right.
At Ohio State, you had to just play quarterback, and Will Howard's an intelligent guy. He's personable. He's clearly a leader. And then on top of that, he's a huge dude who figured out once you got some things straightened out with his feet, was as accurate a thrower as there was in the country this past season. Especially throwing the ball downfield. That was a big question. Can he throw the ball downfield? Well, the play that put the dagger
right
was, need I say more? The whole playoff, 4-game playoff was a tour de force of Will Howard and what he is and what he can become, in my opinion, because he can be that guy that can stand in the pocket and deliver, but also step away from the pocket and do some things. I thought his pocket presence was pretty damn good. And then on top of that, he's a big dude anyway. So, yeah, I don't know where – I'm not sure in this draft there is a franchise quarterback yet.
Right.
I mean, Shedeur Sanders, some of the stuff that – has been going on with him is just mind-boggling. And the last thing you want is a head case when you draft a quarterback. Will Howard is not a head case, but I think he still has things to prove to scouts, right?
Right.
And coaching staffs and GMs. But, yeah, I don't even know what the question was, but I would take Will Howard as a future quarterback in the National Football League, absolutely. Based on the way he played against the best competition you could line up against him, which was those last 4 games of the year.
And Tim, that's interesting you say it because I feel like Will Howard, if I'm a team, yes, Will Howard, I'd still consider him a project. Okay?
Yeah.
A project. Now, he did have superior talent in almost every game he played this season, right? Better receivers than their cornerbacks.
You still got to get it to him, though.
I know. You still have to do it, though. But I'm saying, though, that
you had by the end of the year, you had a makeshift. You had this offensive line that was just remade 7 times in front of you.
I believe, though, at the very least, I would love to have Will Howard as my clipboard quarterback backup.
Oh, I would.
At the very least.
Yeah. I think he's a student. It's just funny because I think he's a student of the game.
Yeah.
Real quick before we go. But, I had a little sit down with Ryan Day this past week that you can see it on the Tim May show on YouTube.
Or you could give it a sound, Tim, but go ahead.
Yeah. But the bottom line is.
And a cut sheet.
Yes, Tim.
Yeah. Sorry.
Selfish.
But he was just talking about at one point that pass where he found Quinshon Judkins in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
that was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, these ideas that Will Howard can't see the field, I've been reading on some scouting reports. I go back and watch.
Yeah.
Go back and watch the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Well, there might not be as many ladies, but ladies and gentlemen, the guys who make the wrong calls more often than not in the National Football League.
I'll say this, too, just to wrap it up. If mock drafts didn't exist and we went into draft day blind, I think a lot of people in this city would be expecting him to go first round.
I think you're right.
But because mock drafts do exist and we're not seeing his names, our brains are programmed to not expect that.
Right.
Coming up next, we will not have sound from Tim May's interview with Ryan Day. He keeps talking about he's humble bragging that he had time with Ryan Day.
No, gatekeeping is what
he did not give us anything. He did not give us a damn thing, even though he's on the show. No, Tim, you can't defend it.
Okay.
Coming up next. No Ryan Day sound. We caught up everything that's happened right now and what will happen this weekend. That's next. This is Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Jerry.
You know, as much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 are free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
A Tim Hortons treat with Nutella is the perfect way to add a little joy to your day, whatever your day brings. Imagine reading your book with a smooth hazelnut mocha iced cap topped with Nutella, or tackling your to-do list with a delicious croissant filled with Nutella and whipped sweet cream. And when you're heading to the office, grab a hazelnut mocha iced coffee with cold foam, because there's nothing better than combining that irresistible Nutella taste with your favorite Tims. Treat yourself with the Nutella lineup, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants, naturally and artificially flavored.
ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once with over 50 feet of video wall and more than 30 TVs. Endless chances to win big. Show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings or create your perfect bracket for a shot at Penn Cash. Enjoy food and bucket specials all tournament long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table now at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
These days, it feels like everyone is talking about how the American dream of homeownership has become out of reach for so many of us. Well, Rocket is trying to give us more of a chance to own our homes. They're making homeownership simpler and more accessible to more people, turning renters into owners. Rocket believes that every one of us deserves a shot at the American dream. So, are you ready? Own the dream. Visit Rocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. Today is the day. It is Stadium Series Saturday, so all of today is one giant build-up to the Blue Jackets and the Red Wings live from the shoe tonight, and it's going to be awesome. We just saw the CBJ beat the Wings in Detroit a couple days ago, and now we're hoping for a repeat and hoping for some clear weather as well this evening, and it's looking like we're going to have that. Let's refresh on those Eastern Conference standings. Columbus and Detroit are both tied with 66 points apiece, so the winner is going to take full control of that top wildcard spot in the conference. Not only is tonight's game going to be a special event, but it's also got some serious playoff implications. And by the way, check your calendars. It's March, so these matter. Puck drop is going to be at 6. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that awesome Cavs victory from last night. Cavaliers 123, Celtics 116. They dug themselves out of a huge hole. They started the game with a 25-3 deficit, 25-3. Nevertheless, they played strong down the stretch thanks in large part to Donovan Mitchell's 41-point performance.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Fan Sports Saturday. Tito. The legendary Tim May. You just heard Seabart on the Sports Center update there.
Yeah.
Jackets Red Wings 6 tonight, by the way. We got coverage all day long.
That's a big game, man. I mean,
I'm telling you.
If they were playing this at the State Fair Coliseum, it's a big game.
It's monster. They are tied right now, although I think the Red Wings are ahead technically because they've got more wins in regulation. Regulation wins, they call it.
Yeah, wins in hand.
Yeah, they've got more wins, but they got the same amount of points. But they play the Red Wings. This is, I think, their last meeting with the Red Wings after they knocked them off last night. 2 nights ago, I'm sorry. The Cavs beat the Celtics last night. The Cavs were down 25-3 early in that game and came back and beat the Celtics. Donovan Mitchell had 41 points. Stafford agreed to restructure with the Rams. There's now talk about Aaron Rodgers going to the Giants.
You don't have to move.
If it does move, right, you're still right there. Same stadium, just different uniform.
Right. Go in another door.
A different door, different parking spot. Yes. Different cafeteria, I wonder. Do you think is there a cafeteria, Tim, in NFL stadiums like for players? I got to believe there is, right?
Well, in the training. Their facilities, yeah. I mean, of course, they have all kinds of, I don't know if you'd even call it a cafeteria. It's like most of these are fully fledged restaurants and stuff now. But, yeah, I'm sure it's really funny because I went over and did a thing with Santonio Holmes a long time ago. As a matter of fact, it was before he had his MVP performance in the Super Bowl. And I was still struck. I'd heard about it, but I was still struck by the fact that the Steelers and the Pittsburgh Panthers, University of Pittsburgh, shared the same training facility, except the building was split down the middle. Yeah,
it was like half this,
Yeah, and it was pretty interesting setup. But I think the Jets, their facility, I'm not sure it's at Giant Stadium, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, whatever you call that stadium now. I remember the old one when I covered some games there back in the day. But the bottom line is, you're still playing in the same stadium. So,
Cole, how old were you when Santonio Holmes caught that pass?
Let's see, that would have been 08 going into 09, so I would have been about to turn 10.
Do you remember the game?
Yes, I do.
When did you become a Steelers fan? How old were you? Were you born into it?
Born into it. Okay. Family's from Steubenville, Ohio, which is
it's Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Tri-state area.
Just like Toledo's, Michigan, yes.
Exactly.
Dean Martin, is that where Dean Martin's from?
That is where Dean Martin's from.
You're right. Look at you.
He had a restaurant there for a while.
Yeah.
I think he's dead.
DeCarlo's Pizza as well, which has migrated its way all around, including here in Columbus. But I would say the first year of football, Steelers football, that I can remember was Big Ben's rookie year.
Okay.
The 15-1 year, I can still see Rodney Harrison running back the pick six in the AFC Championship game. So I learned very early on, hey, we're good, but the Patriots are better.
So the first Super Bowl I remember watching, in my I'm sure I watched little bits and pieces, maybe of other ones. Like the first time I remember being actually being interested in the game and watching it was the 35-31 Steelers over the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first NFL moment you remember watching a game?
Well, I've watched every Super Bowl. So okay. even when it wasn't called the Super Bowl.
It was called the NFL Championship.
One of my favorite things was yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Alabama, and the Packers were my team because Bart Starr was from Alabama.
That's right. Yeah.
So was Joe Namath.
Yeah. So you got what? Three straight Super Bowls?
Yeah, the first 3 Super Bowls were won by Alabama quarterbacks. I don't think they've won one since, have they? I don't think so.
No, Stabler won one.
Yeah, Stabler. Oh,
there
we
go. He was
Stabler. And he was my, Joe Namath. Joe Namath was my hero. But
Jalen Hurts. By the way, make it noted right now that Tito is schooling Tim May on Alabama quarterbacks.
But Hurts,
George Strode.
Hurts is tainted a little because he went to Oklahoma. You know what I mean?
Yes, you're right.
Senior year.
He did start at Alabama.
Yeah,
it's not like Joe Burrow, who was a backup here.
But there's no excuse for the Ken Stabler miss.
No. That was that was a major faux pas on my part. But as I've told everybody many times about rabid fans and stuff, I quit crying when Alabama lost football games when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So from about 12 years old on, it's a little bit of a blur. But the Snake, I even covered some of his games in the National Football League.
Did you really?
Yeah, I mean, because I was covering the Browns and the Bengals back in the late 70s, early 80s before I started covering Ohio State. And I like the Snake, man. I was there when at his induction ceremony for the Hall of Fame, because I think he went in the same year as Orlando Pace up in Canton stuff.
They went in the same year. I figured Stabler would be like the first ballot guy.
He went in posthumously.
Deadly.
Yeah.
There we go.
But the bottom line is, what were we even talking about? Oh yeah, but I remember. See, I was a big. I liked the Browns for a while, especially after we moved to Texas. Because
so did Tito.
Yeah, yes, I hated the Cowboys. I hated the Cowboys right on down the line. But I remember the first NFL games were in the early '60s that I watched. But also when we go to Uncle Jim's house in Laurel, Mississippi, occasionally we can only get one channel on our television, and occasionally another in Demopolis, Alabama. We get WTOK out of Meridian, Mississippi. But they showed mainly NFL games. But Uncle Jim, who by the way was a inaugural season ticket holder with the New Orleans Saints, because when the Saints came on, and whenever that was, whatever year that was, all of southern Mississippi and everybody just jumped on the bandwagon with the Saints.
Yeah, Archie Manning there too, and that's what it was.
Archie Manning Sr.
Ole Miss, yeah.
Oh my goodness, he was quite the quarterback. But we would get to watch AFL games, American Football League games. And my favorite player in the old AFL was Keith Lincoln. He was a running back for the San Diego Chargers. And, of course, they had Lance Allworth and, several other guys who became big-name stars. But I like Keith Lincoln, this running back, which most people didn't pay any attention to. But yeah, I mean, back to what you're talking about, I mean, I've watched every Super Bowl. So, whatever reference you want to make, I may be hazy on it from a year standpoint, but I remember watching it.
But I'm just telling you now, I've updated my LinkedIn to say that one of my accomplishments was knowing Alabama quarterbacks that won the Super Bowl better than Tim May.
Yeah,
I don't care. Look, you're old. It's fine. I understand that.
I just drew a blank spot
I know you did,
there.
but like the fact it was Ken Stabler. By the way, you nailed it, though. The Ken Stabler. Oh, wait. I'm not sure on this. Let me look now. 2016 Hall of Fame class had Favre, Dungy, Harrison, Green, and Pace. Maybe it was not Stabler that year.
That's what his Wikipedia says.
It says in 2016 he was?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was with that class too then. Okay. Favre, Dungy, Harrison, Green, Pace, Stabler.
Yeah.
And you were there for that one.
Yeah.
By the way.
Favre's speech, I think he's still giving it.
He hasn't shut up yet. By the way, if you ever want to feel younger, go look at ages of guys in the 70s and 80s that played sports. Because like when Sparky Anderson, the manager of the Reds, when he took over the Reds job in 1970, age 35, whatever, he was completely gray, and he looked like the old Kramer thing, smoking cigars. He looked like his face was a catcher's mitt.
Yes.
Okay, and he was like 35. Look at how old Stabler was.
Oh, my God. Jim Leland.
Yes, Leland's another one. You're right, yeah. Look at those guys. You will feel so much better about your personal appearance.
Oh, yeah.
If you could see those guys when they were 40 looking like they were 80.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's the most healthy thing you can do. There's a lot of unhealthy things you can do on the internet. This one is healthy. But go look at these guys.
That's funny because I covered some Cowboy games when I was a sports editor of the Lufkin News back in the mid-'70s and before I moved up here. And it's amazing how much older, when you're like 19, 20, 21 years old as a sports writer, and you go into a locker room, this guy like 28 years old.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, no, sir, and all these guys. But it's funny how the older you get, the perspective changes on these guys and how young Major League Baseball players look to me now and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I agree with you.
Earl Weaver's another one. Look at how old those guys look. You will feel so much better when you say, like, I'll say, look, I'm 20 years older than Sparky Anderson was when he took the job, and look how he looked.
I was in Cleveland Stadium that night when Earl Weaver got into it with the home plate umpire. I used to have to cover Indians home games for quite a few years, which I hated because they stunk.
Plenty of seats available.
They stunk. The stadium stunk. Everything about it. But I remember Earl Weaver going in this animated argument with the home plate umpire, and he goes and he holds his finger up like just a minute, and he walks into the dugout and comes back out, and he has a rule book. And he's got the rule book, and he's pointing the rule book, and the umpire's not paying attention to him. And finally, takes the rule book and tears it up, and throws the pages up.
Look, go back.
You don't see that anymore, do you?
Look, you can YouTube this also. Don't do it now while we're on the show because I want you to listen. But there's an Earl Weaver tirade about John Lowenstein.
Oh, yeah.
On a radio thing, and also about it's a question and answer thing where they ask him a question about gardening or something.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. That's fantastic. So go check that out. Yeah, it's a Tommy Lasorda one. Oh, God, yeah. Those are great ones, too. But they're out there right now on what we call the internet. Coming up next, the Combine always provides us with opportunities to overrate players. Who did the guy on my right overrate? We'll do that next. Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon. Even if this promo is playing in the morning, no judgment.
Oh, sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Save big money on your next project now at Menards. Don't let an outdated garage door define your home. Revamp your home's appearance with a new Ideal Garage Door. Choose from our large in-stock selection or design your own using our free Garage Door Designer. Save big and Ideal Garage Doors. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hoops fans, are you ready to score big and get lucky this March?
What's up? It's T-Bone. I'm here to tell you that Bud Light will be holding mini hoops challenges at bars and restaurants across town over the next several weeks with one goal in mind:
to send one lucky local winner to Las Vegas, where they'll compete for $10,000.
Take your shot at March Madness glory. This week, join Bud Light on Thursday night as they take over Pastimes Crosswoods on Campus View Boulevard. They'll be there from 7 to 9 p.m.
And have a mini hoops basketball challenge that'll give you a shot at a Vegas trip and $10,000.
Breaking news.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Meet the new Monopoly Bonus Spectacular scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. Scratch off greenhouses to reveal winning numbers for a chance at over $113 million in total cash prizes. That's a spectacular amount of winnings. 5 games from $1 to 20. Multipliers from 5 to 100 times. Chance bonuses and top prizes up to $1 million. When you play the Monopoly Bonus Spectacular scratch-offs, what you find under a greenhouse could change everything. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Are you turning 65? Are you looking for Medicare Advantage coverage? Great news! The Ohio State Health Systems and Mount Carmel Health Systems are in our provider network. Aetna has Medicare Advantage plans that include prescription drug coverage with a $0 monthly plan premium. Plus, the plans include benefits like dental, vision, and hearing. Call Aetna today at 1-888-76-AETNA to learn more. One of our licensed agents will answer your call. Call today, 1-888-76-AETNA. Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Our D-SNPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area. Participating healthcare providers are independent contractors and are neither agents nor employees of Aetna. The availability of any particular provider cannot be guaranteed, and provider network composition is subject to change. Other physicians, providers are available in our network.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It might be the start of meteorological spring on March 1st, however, feeling more like winter, as daytime highs will struggle to get above the freezing mark. We'll be right around 32 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and there will be chances of flurries and isolated snow showers, which eventually those chances tapering off as we go into later tonight. But overnight, partly cloudy skies and teens for the low, and then getting into your Sunday, more sunshine with temperatures right around 35 degrees and a lot less wind. Stay warm, everybody. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Fan Sports Saturday. We're on till noon. Then Fan Sports Saturday comes up after us. Live down there on campus at Ohio State, leading into the Stadium Series game between the Jackets and the Red Wings. A huge game. Playoff implications in that one. Reeser and Baker and Tyvis Powell will be out there for that one. We got all kinds of coverage going on. And then we got Leonard Rothman with Rimmer. There's a lot, so much going on.
Oh, yeah. I hope they got a heater out there, though.
You know what? Honestly, Tim, I hope they don't.
Have you ever done one of those remotes? I mean, a couple of games this year.
Cold. No, I've done when it's been cold.
The great thing was before the Tennessee game, at least we did that tailgate show, and at least there was a heater near me. Finally, for the first time, and I survived. But it gets cold, baby, when you're just sitting there talking.
Tim, when it comes to sports broadcasting, or sports in general, I am very much in the camp of I hope you're miserable, because and look, I love Rothman, I love Reeser, I love Baker and Tyvis. I love all those guys.
What about Rimmer?
I like Rimmer.
Yeah.
But anyway, but just like when I talk to Tyvis out here, when I talk to DeVere, when I've talked to Carpenter, even when I've talked to Laurinaitis or Hartline, I've said to them, I want to see your breath when you're playing. I want to be in my recliner, blanket on, watching you suffer. I don't care. That's
what is the deal for that? Why are people so infatuated or intrigued by the last thing you want if you have a really good football team,
right?
And you're playing in December or January, is for there to be snow and the wind blowing, because it does nothing for you. I mean, I'm exactly the opposite of that. I mean, I've never been intrigued by inclement weather affecting a football game.
Okay. I think it's
because then it comes down to luck.
It's insecurity for me, because all those people I just mentioned are much more successful than me.
Oh, I got you.
And I think I just want to have a moment where they would rather be me than themselves. And when they're out there in the freezer bowl at Cincinnati You know, and those guys were out there in minus
I
70
covered that
degrees.
game.
You did?
Yeah.
Like a minus 50-degree wind chill, whatever it
It
was.
was a year after the coldest game in NFL history, and then that one became the coldest.
Yes, that became the coldest. Like, in those moments, I want you to wish you were where I was.
Yeah.
It's a totally insecure thing. That's what it is.
I was in the press box and froze my rear end off at both of those games.
I'm sure you did.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
so cold. It
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
Okay, so the combine, people fall in love with combine numbers, and somebody comes out and runs this great 40. Honestly, most of the times, somebody overdrafts a combine freak and disregards what they didn't do in college. It fails. It happens way too often. Now, sometimes it works out, but most of the time, if you are a guy who is like, maybe kind of okay, maybe a second rounder, third rounder, and goes out there and blows people away with your bench presses, your shuttle time, your 40, whatever it is, you get overdrafted.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Tim. Is there anybody that you thought this dude from Ohio State is going to be a great pro that you missed on? Is there anybody you said this guy is not going to make it and you missed on? Because I famously have said, by the way, just in basketball, just honestly, and I always say this, I thought Michael Redd would not make it in the NBA. I think I was wrong on that one. Now,
pure shooter, baby.
As far as you go, though, there's somebody you thought this guy's going to be a stud and wasn't, or this guy's going to be middle of the road and was great.
Wow, I mean that's a lot of guys to think through. Number one, that's a pop quiz that you've laid on me.
That's what I do, Tim.
But there are different guys that come on. Vernon
Golston was one of the, he was one of the ones who certainly came out and got raised up because of his combine.
Right, but he was a tweener, man. They didn't know what to do with him in the National Football League. They didn't. I mean, he got drafted by the Jets. I remember they were fired up about having him, and then they really couldn't figure out where he fit because he was a tremendous college football player, meaning his chest bump sack, for example, goes down in legend against Michigan and stuff. But the bottom line is they didn't know what to do with him. The more interesting thing is a guy that you're not sure how he's going to be in the NFL because for the same reason, where does he fit was Mike Vrabel. And the Pittsburgh Steelers ended up drafting him, which was interesting. They had no idea what to do with him. Mm-hmm. And I've told this, many times. I mean, it's NFL lore now. He ends up with the New England Patriots after 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Bill Belichick turned him into a force of nature. And then all of a sudden, everybody in the combine was looking for the next Mike Vrabel.
He was a damn tight end for a while.
Well, no, but
in Super Bowls, I'm saying,
he caught touchdown passes. But everybody was looking for the next Mike Vrabel, that flexible player who could do a lot of things for you and stuff, which is really funny because nobody knew what to do with him when he was first coming out and stuff. So, guys have risen up. Terry McLaurin, in my opinion, is a great example of you thought he might be a decent NFL player. Mm-hmm. Dude, he's one of the greats in the National Football League right now. And when it clicks, it's amazing when it clicks for a guy. Like, we were talking about a while ago about the Ohio State basketball team. If Bradshaw ever gets it going, this team could do some damage here late, for example. But Terry McLaurin, I've always liked him as a person. He's a stand-up dude. But did I see him becoming what he has become in the NFL? No, I did not. I will be honest with you. Paris Campbell's a guy who, if he could just stay away from injuries, I think could be a guy like that.
Like I would money on Campbell over McLaurin when they came out, right? Like I was saying, Campbell's going to be a stud. McLaurin, it might be okay, right? But it's totally flipped. A lot of it, Campbell, those injuries,
right. He's just when he gets it going, something he pops a tire, as the old saying goes. But yeah, I mean, there are all kinds of examples like that, and of guys who J.K. Dobbins. I didn't know what kind of pro he was going to be. Because he was a tremendous college running back,
right? As
we all know. But could you do those same things? Well, he has, except when he's been hurt.
Right. He said terrible injuries.
He belongs in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. So, you could, I'm not sure. Maybe Craig Krenzel got the right. Maybe he did get a chance. I mean, obviously, with
I
the
had
Bears.
Krenzel doing better. I had Krenzel doing better in the NFL than he did. I really did. I was all about it.
But you still got to have the team around you, brother.
Right.
Yes. Justin Fields, do I think he's a a tremendous talent? Absolutely. Has he had a team around him yet? No. And that includes my man in there in the control room. Has he had an offensive line around him yet that is anywhere close to elite? I don't think so. Not since he left Ohio State.
Right.
So, my jury's still out on like Justin Fields. Just like with Matt, we were talking about Matt Stafford a while ago. He didn't win anything for so long, but you knew he was talented. That he ends up in the right place and at the right time, and boom, there he goes. And then, it's literally a lot of it comes into who you end up with, and from a standpoint of the talent around you, but then them being able to figure out what you do best and getting it done. And that's you could say that about a lot of college players, but Keith Byers played in the National Football League for 15 years.
It transformed his position.
Right. And the thing about it is you could make an argument for him being in the Hall of Fame, except he doesn't have those big numbers, super huge numbers at receiver or at running back. You know what I mean? That would make you go sit up and go, wow. He might have to be on one of those old timer guys who eventually gets brought in just because of how he helped revolutionize the game. There are all kinds of examples like that.
We'll go a little bit further on this because I want to ask Tim May a question in our next segment. That is one hell of a tease right there. Make sure you record that tease, Bart, because it'll be it's Radio Emmy worthy.
We're going to put that in some of our rejoins.
There we go.
That exact quote.
But we'll talk next. I've got a question for Tim May about a former Buckeye running back that I think should be in the Hall of Fame. We'll do that next. Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasheterFord.net. Thanks.
President's Day savings all month long at your main Honda of Dublin. If you're searching for a Honda lease deal here in Central Ohio, you've come to the right place. Leasing allows you to enjoy flexibility in one of their sharp, reliable, awesome vehicles. I'm confident Rich and his team can tailor a lease that's right for you. Like a 2025 CRV LX all-wheel drive for $349 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $19.99 down. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
These days, it feels like everyone is talking about how the American dream of homeownership has become out of reach for so many of us. Well, Rocket is trying to give us more of a chance to own our homes. They're making homeownership simpler and more accessible to more people, turning renters into owners. Rocket believes that every one of us deserves a shot at the American dream. So, are you ready? Own the dream. Visit Rocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Fan Sports Saturday, Tito, Tim May, Bart, Bass, Man, Black Bart. All four of them are on the other side of the glass there. By the way, Jacob Reimer's going to come in and do a college basketball segment with us, so make sure you stick around for that. Jacob Reimer, who is one of the co-hosts of the Mad About Hoops podcast that we also run here on Saturdays before our show here came on. So, did you have a shout-out now or next segment, Tim? I'm sorry.
Oh, my grandson Charlie's listening, so I thought I'd give him a shout-out. He's one of the great young Americans out there. Charlie May, 3 years old.
3 years old. You say it's a play date.
He's going to a play date, and he's fired up about it. And then I'm babysitting him. My wife and I are babysitting him and his older brother, Owen, tonight, as my son and his lovely wife, Steph, go to the What's it called? The Stadium Series. What's the full name of it? Quick. What's the full name of it?
Stadium
the Navy,
Series Classic.
The Navy,
it's just a Navy thing.
Navy Credit Union.
Something like that,
Something.
yes. I don't know.
It's like a bowl game.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
yes.
it is.
San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl.
There you go. That's what it is. Okay, so Tim, here is and this is a hill I will die on.
Uh-oh.
I know exactly what you're going to say before you even say it.
I know you do, because we've talked about it, I think. If Kevin Dyson scores that touchdown against the Rams in the Super Bowl, and they go on to win that game, Eddie George is the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
He had 2 touchdowns, rushed for like 90-some yards, had like 40 or 50 yards receiving.
Yeah.
He's the MVP of that game.
He and I've talked about that before.
He's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. He
With
is.
the career he had.
He was the man of steel there for the
they
Titans
ran him into the ground.
for a decade.
Yeah, they ran him into the ground.
Right.
So I think if Dyson scores and they win that game, I think Eddie George should be in the Hall of Fame anyway.
Yes.
I do. I believe he should be.
Agreed.
I don't think he'll ever get in, but I think he should be. But I feel very confidently that if Dyson scores that touchdown, Titans go on to win, he's in the Hall of Fame right now.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it does come down to perception, but, it shouldn't, right? With the guys that select the Hall of Fame members. It should not come down to that. But, Derrick Henry is an Eddie George wannabe,
Yes, exactly.
That's the way I've always looked at it. And I figure, if Dan Marino's in, Eddie George eventually will be in some form or fashion. But Eddie, man, just for all kinds of reasons, Eddie George ought to be in the Hall of Fame.
God.
What a stand-up dude.
Right.
What a grown man. When he was 20, he was a grown man. And the way he could put a team on his back then in college and then in the National Football League was astounding. And you should be rewarded for basically running your tires until they're totally bald.
Yeah.
If you follow my drift.
Yep, I do. Because he had that last year in Dallas, it was not good. I don't know if that hurt him or not, but nonetheless, it feels to me like Eddie George should be in the Hall of Fame. Is that what you thought I'd go with, Cole? Is that where you thought I was going?
Now, I'll give you a little bit of
I didn't know that was where you were going at all, because in my head, Eddie is sort of already there.
I'm with you.
I'll give you a little bit of inspiration, okay? It's starting to become in vogue, despite the fact that, quarterbacks are playing till they're like 42 years old.
Right.
It's starting to become in vogue that if you have a shorter career that's limited by injuries, but you were able to pack a serious punch.
Right.
Like Sterling Sharp just got
Terrell
in.
Davis.
Yes. Luke Kuechly is going to get in very shortly because of concussions. He retired prematurely, so I think he only had like an 8 or 9 year career, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think, you still have guys who played with Bart Starr who are getting into the Hall of Fame in the past handful of years.
Well, Gale Sayers, Gale Sayers was as good a running back as you have ever seen, the Kansas Comet. And matter of fact, I made reference to that when Ohio State played in Wrigley Field against Northwestern this year. He played his entire home game NFL career in Wrigley Field. People forget the Bears played there way back when, and of course tore his knee up and was never the same guy after that. But he got in the Hall of Fame because he was so damn good. Eddie George is on that level. I mean, was he a flashy kind of runner like Gale Sayers? No, but did he produce year in and year out? Yeah, absolutely he did, and he should be strong consideration. And when he finally does get in some form or fashion, he can put that he can hang his jacket up, his gold jacket or whatever, right next to his Heisman Trophy.
He rushed for 10,441 yards in a 9-year career.
Yeah.
And had
do the math on that.
268 receptions for 2,227 yards. Over a 17-game season, which is what we have now, his average year would be 1,259 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, 269 receiving, and a touchdown there as well. And that doesn't include the playoffs also, where he rushed for another 776 yards and had 149 yards in receptions. It had 5 touchdowns in the postseason. So, yes. And by the way, Tim, going back to the other thing, and as I started thinking about this, I realized what a homer I am. Maybe I am. You tell me if I'm a homer or not. But I thought that a couple of players that would have really good professional careers, I think one of them kind of did because of his USFL time. But for me, Tim Spencer and Gary Williams.
Yeah.
But Gary Williams was a beast.
Yeah.
And it's time when you didn't throw the ball very much. Tim Spencer went to the Chicago Blitz and then went to the Bears, had a decent NFL career, but a better USFL career, and then long time, obviously, running backs coach. I don't know what he's doing now. Is he still coaching some running backs somewhere or not? Do you know?
I'm sure he is, yeah. I think he is.
If not in the NFL.
As you hit me right now, I can't remember where he is right now, but go ahead. But yeah, but he went to the Chicago Fire?
Chicago Blitz.
Blitz, yeah. I remember doing a story on him when he got drafted,
Okay.
It kind of reminds me of Tom Cousineau. When Tom Cousineau got drafted.
He went to Canada, right?
Yeah, but he was the first round. He was the first player taken.
Yeah, by the Bills.
But also by Montreal, if I remember correctly.
Montreal, the Alouettes, yep.
Well, back then, the CFL was paying more money than the National Football League.
And he wanted to play in Buffalo.
Well, Montreal isn't exactly, San Diego.
Right. Yeah.
But no, he went because Montreal was paying more money by a long shot. And there were quite a few players that ended up in the Canadian Football League because of that very reason back then before the, NFL finally figured out, hey, we got to let the players share a little bit more in the largesse.
Yeah.
Kind of like college football's figured out, right? Begrudgingly. But yeah, it's going back to Tim Spencer. He was a tremendous running back. And back then, running backs, just like with Eddie, I mean, they carried the load, baby. I mean, there wasn't any leaving the field on third down necessarily and things like that and stuff. So you got beat up. And guys like Eddie George are an anomaly. I mean, when you consider the average NFL career right now, it's 3.25 seasons?
Something like it, yeah.
I mean, that's nuts when you think about it. And you can have a much longer, and in some players' cases, a more lucrative college football career now because of NIL, et cetera. But yeah, it did come down to the money, I do believe, in Tom Cousineau's case, and even in Tim Spencer's case. So it is, but Steve Young was able to overcome going elsewhere. Jim Kelly was able to overcome going to another league.
Right. He used to play the Houston Gamblers.
Correct. I mean, which was tremendous. I think
it still has the passing record for most yards passing in a professional season.
I think you're exactly correct. But the bottom line is they finally got their shots in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they parlayed. But not everybody gets it. Warren Moon went to the Canadian Football
CFL
League.
Also. You're right.
So but it's those days are long gone now in terms of being, the CFL being any kind of attraction over the National Football League. But you still got to get your shot with the right team at the right time.
It's got to be the right
Marino
situation.
thought he was going to go to probably 10 Super Bowls.
Nothing could have happened better for Dan Marino than going to the Dolphins, though, when he did, as far as the career goes.
Correct.
That was the best thing, was not going to Kansas City or going to the Jets. The Jets are Ken O'Brien.
Yeah.
Kansas City took Todd Blackledge. Nothing could have been better for Dan Marino than going where he went.
Correct. And, boy, did things work out for him.
Yes.
Except for a Super Bowl.
Except for that part, that little part there. I also... Two other receivers I was thinking of while we were talking there. One was Doug Donnelly, had a decent NFL career.
Yeah,
White Lightning with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And then also I thought David Boston would be a stud. Now, he had other issues going on that prevented some of that, but he had the right makeup for being a stud receiver.
Plus, he got banged up, too.
He got banged up, yes.
I mean, don't discount the banged up part of the equation.
Todd in the YouTube chat. And by the way, I encourage you to go to that. Check it out. If you have questions for us or something we bring up.
I forgot I have to have good posture because I'm on TV here.
I know, dude. You're on TV. Don't. My
Charlie's
mom
watching. Come on, set an example.
Yeah. No kidding, Tim. Todd says, I thought Bobby Hoying was an NFL lock. I thought Bobby Hoying would have had a really good NFL career. Did you think that also, or did you think, he's a good college quarterback, but not NFL?
He had a promising NFL career, if you remember correctly. I'm trying to remember.
Eagles took him.
Yeah, exactly. Then he ended up with the Raiders, right?
I think so.
Yeah. But Bobby, man, I remember catching passes from him a few times, and he was just warming up, and I'm just going,
this hurts.
Man, people make a living catching these balls. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, yes, I know.
Remember the Elway cross?
Yes.
He would, the point of the ball would hit a guy in the chest or the abdomen and leave a little cross mark where the parts came together. But Bobby... Yeah, I think Bobby got banged up a little bit too, but he actually was pretty good for a while. I thought Tom Tupa.
Tupa's had the longest career for a while.
Right, exactly. And I'll tell you
Tom
this.
Zach, though, yeah.
Yeah. Tom Zach was there for, 15 years, but mainly as a backup.
Mainly punter, but then also came in, he played quarterback a little bit.
Correct. I'll tell you the guy, in my opinion, who got the short end of the stick was Troy Smith.
Okay.
Because Troy Smith was going to be the starter, if I remember correctly, for the Ravens. Got sick. And I think a guy named Joe Flacco took his place.
Right. I think you're right on that.
Whatever. Then he ends up with that whack job known as Mike Singletary
in San Francisco,
out of San Francisco, and they get into that spat. I think it was on the sideline, but there had to be more to it than just that, and pretty much got shoved on the shelf. From then on. But dude, I'll never forget. Pro day for Ohio State. We talked about when you should run your 40s, and the pro day for Ohio State's coming up the end of this month again. But I'll never forget that pro day. What was it? I don't know how many years ago it was. 6, 7, 8 years ago, when they needed a quarterback to throw at Ohio State's pro day. And they just elevated. Troy was like doing some stuff, I think, for the university and things. And they just brought Troy in. Next thing you know, these scouts and coaches are talking to Troy after the workout because he was so on point. I mean, he threw that, what I called a Hollywood pass. If you were going to have a movie, you would want Troy Smith throwing the ball. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Capturing it in flight and stuff. So there's a guy I think just was never on the right side of the correct side of the moon, for want of another term, when he needed to be in his pro football career. I thought he could have had a tremendous career as a starting quarterback.
I will go on a deep cut here that you guys won't get it. Tim might get it.
I definitely won't.
You definitely won't get it. But the time I decided I was not going to be a wide receiver in high school was the first time I caught a pass from Anthony Thornton at Brookhaven High School, went on to OU to play quarterback there.
Yeah.
He threw such a incredibly fast, hard football.
Heavy.
Yes. I was a freshman. He was a junior. And I think I still have scars from catching passes from in drills.
Yeah.
And I say like I could have been a receiver. No, I couldn't have. I never. So it's not the only reason I'm saying, though. When I caught the first pass from Anthony Thornton in a drill, I thought, this isn't the Nerf ball in the front yard.
By the way, speaking of careers real quick, just think about Bob Hoying.
Yeah.
If they had beaten Michigan in 95.
Yeah.
I mean, that team had Bob Hoying, Eddie George, Orlando Pace, a whole cadre.
Sure.
Terry Glenn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how one game can sort of like take away from what I thought was a tremendous Ohio State career for Bob Hoying. And maybe even would have elevated him even more in the draft, but he definitely had all the tools.
And that's why we come full circle. We talk about the one game, the Eddie George Super Bowl game, inches away from tying that game.
Yeah, and Eddie still won the Heisman in 95.
He did, yes. Coming up next.
Of course, back then, most of the guys already mailed in their ballots.
That's a whole other show. Maybe it's tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
I've called him a coward, but is he onto something? That's next, Fan Sports Saturday.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Meet the new Monopoly Bonus Spectacular scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. Scratch off greenhouses to reveal winning numbers for a chance at over $113 million in total cash prizes. That's a spectacular amount of winnings. 5 games from $1 to 20. Multipliers from 5 to 100 times. Chance bonuses and top prizes up to $1 million. When you play the Monopoly Bonus Spectacular scratch-offs, what you find under a greenhouse could change everything. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bomb shelves arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on Post cereal or Kroger brand peanut butter. Select varieties are only $1.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
No matter where you are, Coughlin is there, in store or online. CoughlinCars.com. 13 new car brands, over 1,000 pre-owned vehicles, 16 convenient locations for sales, service, and parts, plus 4 state-of-the-art collision centers. CoughlinCars.com. Shop locally owned, CoughlinCars.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. As football winds down, college basketball is gearing up, and fans are ready to see which teams will prove they are ready to shine in March and who will be seen in San Antonio. You can get on all the action from tip-off to the final whistle at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Right now, new ESPN Bet Sportsbook customers can bet $10 and get $100 back in bonus bets and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the app. Sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Cole, just so you know, when we play that promo, I have every legal right to not wear pants in the studio. Okay?
I believe you.
I'm just telling you, if I did not wear pants, HR can't say a damn thing to me.
If I'm ever scheduled with you on that day, do me ahead of time, and I'll just do mine from home.
There we go.
My part of the show from home.
I was going to say, it's more of a Tim May problem than a me problem.
I'm just letting you hold. It's a more YouTube problem is what it is, if I get up.
Some sense of professionalism is all I demand.
There's some.
Hey, you're at a desk, so as far as YouTube is concerned, it's like Zoom during COVID. As long as you got the top half, you're covered.
Is this up top? Party in the Bottom. Okay, so, party on the lower level. Let's just say that instead. I want to make sure I don't get in further trouble. Matt Rule, I called him a coward, Tim, when he canceled the spring games. I said Ohio State would never do that.
You were way out there on a limb on that one.
I said there's no way, because he's worried about losing players. I said that's insecurity. That's what it is. And then USC, Texas, Ohio State all cancel their spring games.
Festival, baby.
Yes, it'll be a festival, which I'm okay with, Tim. I'm okay with doing that.
I'd call it a jamboree, but
I remember
they called it a festival.
A few years back. I say a few, when you're this old, it probably means 20. But when Tressel, I think it was Tressel, did like a nighttime practice and had autograph sessions in the shoe. It
was pretty cool.
Right. That's something they should do. I would do that. Okay. Now, I further called him a coward when Matt Rule canceled the Tennessee home and home series. He was on Urban Meyer's podcast and was talking about this. And he said, why would you ever play those games? If we're being completely honest, Coach Meyer, I'm at the point in my career, in my fourth job and getting fired in the NFL. I kind of say what I feel nowadays. He did say I could care less, which people say all the time and butcher. It's supposed to be I couldn't care less is what he meant.
Correct.
But so don't say I could care less. Steve Blackledge always said irregardless to me, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rule continued. Why in the world would a Big Ten team who's already playing 9 conference games, why would you ever play one of those games? So his thought is, my goal is to make the playoffs. And if I'm doing a home and home with Tennessee, it could decrease my chances. Granted, they'd be great wins, but they could also be a loss.
Well, here's the thing. He's right and wrong all at the same time. Number one, people want to see Texas at Ohio State.
Sure.
Season opener this coming year. It's an attraction. You should get paid extra money if you're Texas and Ohio State.
Sure.
For playing that game. You shouldn't be just sharing in the conference coffers from a TV contract standpoint. You should get bonus money for playing those kind of games because it enhances the ratings. So I like the attraction of those kind of games. If you're actually being rewarded and the players are being rewarded for it. The thing is, though, we're out of the polls mean very little anymore in terms of a game like that elevating you in the polls one way or the other, from the get-go, because it is going to come down to how you do in your conference season and what your overall record is. He is absolutely correct in the sense of why would you add another round of jeopardy when you're already playing 9 games in the Big Ten, which I think most people now have seen where the worm has turned, and the Big Ten is probably the toughest conference in college football. SEC got put in its place this past season. So you could make the same argument if you're in the SEC. Why would you play these marquee games? So I can understand his thinking from a guy from a program that has so long been in the wilderness. Since the mid-19...
since they joined the Big Ten.
Mid-1990s. But since the mid-1990s and Tom Osborne, they have been so much in the wilderness trying to find their way back out. So I understand a little bit of a paranoia there, the anxiety that would come with games like that. Didn't they lose to Troy State, though, or Troy a couple of years ago?
Nothing would surprise me.
So just when you think you've got it figured out, just like Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois this year, this past season. They still ended up in the playoffs and in the championship game. But there is no rhyme or reason to how you get into the playoff. To think that you can schedule your way into it, I think, is folly.
Tim, when Ohio State had the TCU home and home schedule, they brought it down to one game played at Jerry World.
Right.
Ohio State next season plays at Texas. The Texas series, I think, is going to happen. It'll be fun. Okay.
I think it is. Yeah.
After that, they've got a home and home with Alabama, home and home with Georgia. Do you think all 4 of those games happen?
Well, history tells you no.
Right. But they're great on the schedule right now.
I'll never forget when they were trying to get an Ohio State Alabama game, either the opener or the second game of the year. Neither one of them wanted to do a home and home.
Right.
They wanted to
play like in one of the Jersey, right?
No, they were talking about playing. I'm talking about in the what was that, the early 2000s?
Oh, okay.
Anyway, they finally figured out, let's play in Nashville. the Titans, and then finally they both backed away from it. So, the great thing about the Kickoff Classic way back when, remember when Ohio State opened with Alabama in 1986
they lost 16-10 or something.
in the Kickoff Classic. Yeah. Speaking of the late Jim Carsados, may he rest in peace. The last pass to Chris Carter, like he said, if I'd thrown it a half second later, he would have caught it and they would have won. And then they went out and got waxed by Washington. What was that?
Bad, like 40-7 or something.
41-7 or 40-7. It was crazy. That was about as ambitious of first two opening games as Ohio State has probably ever played in a non-conference realm, right? But one of them was set up from the standpoint of Ohio State playing Alabama in the Kickoff Classic, and they got a bonus cash out of it. So I think that's where you ought to go, is make it attractive from a financial standpoint, because everybody is looking for money now under their couch pillows, under their bed. Where did I drop those quarters? Everybody's looking for that extra cash now, and that's where you ought to stand up and go to the networks. Okay, we'll play this game, but you're going to pay us X amount to do it.
See, Bart, the game score of that 1986 game was 40-7. I called it, and that just shows you how sick I am, because I don't know what my wife wants to pick up the grocery store on the way home, even though she's told me 3 times. But I can tell you in 1986, Ohio State lost 40-7 to Washington.
And you know that Ken Stabler won a Super Bowl.
Look, I'm not going to bring that up again. I'm not going to discredit Tim May that way. But I did know that. I
think final scores are nebulous in terms of that stuff. I think not including Ken Stabler in my list of Alabama quarterbacks who won a Super Bowl was a major error on my part, because I was so tuned into the fact they won the first 3. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, get back to your thing. Get back to the other stuff Matt Rule said. Dude, people know who your good players are.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
They're paying attention to what's going on during spring practices.
Yep.
They when they come after you, they come after you. And they're not coming after they're coming after the player through his representative, now. So that's not going away anytime soon.
When you said nebulous to me, it reminded me of the great Kevin Hart quote from 40-Year-Old Virgin. You're throwing a lot of big words that I don't understand, so I'll take them as a sign of disrespect. Coming up next, Jacob Reimer's going to join us, talk college hoops. We'll do that. This is Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa.
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic.
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game. That's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
For the Blue Jackets, the magic happens on the ice. But for Blue Jackets fans looking for an amazing getaway, the real Florida magic is here in Central Florida's Polk County. From the natural beauty of Bach Tower Gardens, to the all-ages fun at Legoland Florida Resort, to the chance to do some luxurious glamping on a working dude ranch, it's all here. Even better, it's all just minutes from other area theme parks, too. Discover everything we offer and plan your trip to see the real Florida at visitcentralflorida.com today.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not.
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gerdes?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gerdes was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be mean.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Roll Up to Win is back at Tim Hortons. We're rolling out great prizes like a 2025 Ford Bronco, $500 daily jackpots, Xboxes, and more. You can earn rolls with your purchase of an eligible hot or cold beverage and favorite breakfast item. A whole new way to earn rolls this year. Visit your neighborhood Tim's and download the app for great food and more opportunities to roll up to win. No purchase necessary. Tim Hortons app required. See rules on app for details. Entered by 3/23/25. Sponsored by Tim Hortons.
This is a Craver service announcement. Stop what you're doing and get 10 cheese sliders for a new low price of just $7.99. Your choice of melty American, spicy jalapeno, or cheddar cheese. Only $7.99 for 10 cheese sliders. White Castle. Follow your crave.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimas. Today is the day. It is Stadium Series Saturday, so all of today is one giant build-up to the Blue Jackets and the Red Wings live from the shoe tonight, and it's going to be awesome. We just saw the CBJ beat the Wings in Detroit a couple days ago, and now we're hoping for a repeat and hoping for some clear weather as well this evening, and it's looking like we're going to have that. Let's refresh on those Eastern Conference standings. Columbus and Detroit are both tied with 66 points apiece, so the winner is going to take full control of that top wildcard spot in the conference. Not only is tonight's game going to be a special event, but it's also got some serious playoff implications. And by the way, check your calendars. It's March, so these matter. Puck drop is going to be at 6. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that awesome Cavs victory from last night. Cavaliers 123, Celtics 116. They dug themselves out of a huge hole. They started the game with a 25-3 deficit, 25-3. Nevertheless, they played strong down the stretch thanks in large part to Donovan Mitchell's 41-point performance.
Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Fan Sports Saturday. Tito. Tim May. Seabart. Fish in the house. Came in to double check the HR violation, make sure I had pants on. And now we are joined by...
Well, aren't you glad you put them back on?
I am so glad I put them back on and tied them up. I am telling you right now, no offense, Tim May, Tim Hall. No offense, Tim Hall, but this guy is the expert on college basketball. He is Jacob Reimer, and you can follow him on Twitter at RhymeTime05. Is that what I'm at?
Yep.
Okay, nailed it. Follow him there on Twitter. Also, one of the hosts of Mad About Hoops, which is on today from 8 to 9, leading into our show. So he's not on the Bryant Heating Cooling System fan guest hotline. He's right across from me. And Reimer, I want to ask you this first. Today's a big day. First of all, it's March 1st. And whenever you could say, hey, when's March Madness? It's this month. It's a much better day. How excited are you about it turning to March 1st?
I couldn't really sleep last night. I was just too excited. March is here.
Yeah.
And we saw it during the week with all those buzzer beaters with Michigan State and Michigan. Kentucky was a crazy game. It's like the universe knew March was coming. And yeah, here we are.
What does Ohio State have to do to get in the tournament?
I think they still need to win at least 2 more games. I think they get a split here with finishing the regular season.
Nebraska, Indiana,
and then they got to win one in the conference tournament to solidify themselves as a tournament team.
You think but both of these last 2 games are winnable, right? Is that the way you look at them also?
Yeah.
But based on the previous meetings, even though one was here and one was there?
Yeah, I think so. They match up pretty well with Nebraska. I think Nebraska had a little bit of a length on them.
Yeah.
But it helps that they're at home. It's the last home game of the year. So hopefully they come out with some fire and can do well because it hasn't been great at home this year. They're under 500 at home, which is not good. You got to protect home court.
No. Including selling tickets, but go ahead.
Yeah, right.
It's a whole different show.
The one thing about the Indiana game that concerns me, it's the last game in Assembly Hall for the year, most likely for Indiana. And Umar Ballo gave Ohio State fits when they came here to Columbus. He went for like 21-15, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that he could do that again for Indiana in that game.
And looking at Ohio State, we talked about this earlier. Is Bradshaw, is he the wild card? I mean, how would you describe it? Like I said, it's almost like he's got to play himself into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he has an upside here that's obvious, right?
Right. He can. What he does great is spacing the floor because he's shown that he can knock down the mid range. He started out the USC game with a 3, which was huge. Yeah. What he's going to have to do really well in this closing stretch is he's going to have to be a big big body on the boards.
Yeah,
and
play like a big man.
Yeah, he's got the length, like he can do it. He's 7 feet tall. He should be going up and getting probably at least, I would hope at least 5 a game.
Yeah.
And Stewart's been getting in foul trouble, so he's seeing extra minutes. We need some more help on the glass there.
Jacob, I may have asked you this before, and I don't care if I did because things have changed since the last time I asked you if I did. Sometimes I dream about doing shows, and I may have asked you in my dream. Not to say I dream about you, Jacob, but it's possible.
Wow.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Would you take right now the NCAA champion will be an SEC team or the field?
That is a really good question because
you didn't answer my dream either.
I was all in on the SEC until last weekend because there was the whole conversations about if Duke is really going to be able to do something outside of the ACC because they've been just rolling through the conference, and then they go and take on Illinois, which I was very high on before they got all these injuries and everything at the start of 2025, and they go in and beat them by almost 40 in the Garden, or over 40 in the Garden.
Yeah.
So they definitely have all the tools needed to cut down the nets in April. I love Auburn. Bama can get hot at any time. I really like Florida with their guard play. And
Tennessee.
Tennessee. The one thing that scares me about Tennessee is they can go through some droughts offensively. And that what helps them is on the defensive end, they're the best defensive team in the country. But for how loaded the SEC is, it all depends on matchups. I think I probably would go with an SEC champion right now just because of how dominant that conference has been all year.
I tell you, Auburn at times, in my opinion, for one of another term, looks ferocious. I mean,
yes.
The way they can just, Bruce Pearl's got it going in that regard. I mean, guys are playing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's why I'm looking at them. I mean, I look at them as an odds-on favorite right now. But we all know the NCAA tournament brings out beasts in a lot of people, right? I mean, who is that team down in like that 10 to 20 range that you think, I'm talking about, AP poll wise, that you think people might be sleeping on that could really make a run? I mean, for example, I'm looking at Texas Tech on the latest AP poll. I'm looking at it right here. They're number 10. But really, how good are they? You don't see Texas Tech a lot.
Right.
They could be the kind of team that sneaks up on people.
Yeah,
right?
they can really knock down the three. They defend well.
Right.
Elijah Hawkins, he is probably the best creator and orchestrator in the Big 12. He's really tough to guard. JT Toppin is playing like an All-American for them. They've been without Chance McMillan these last couple games, and they still hung around with Houston the other night in a very good game. And if you remember, they went into Houston. JT Toppin got ejected for a flagrant 2, which was still crazy. And then the head coach got ejected in like the very first few minutes of the game, and they go on to win in overtime.
Right.
So they definitely have the size and the length to really knock off anybody. That's why I was like, I put together
depth on their coaching staff. No,
right. I put together my own top 16 rankings of like top 4 seeds, put them in region, and I'm looking at it and I was like, if somebody like a Texas Tech were to be in Duke's region as like a 4 seed, they could really give Duke some problems because of their size.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm going to give you 3 teams. I want you to tell me who you think has the best chance of making who have a deeper run out of these 3 teams. Michigan, UConn, St. John's.
I want to say UConn just because they can get hot offensively.
Yeah.
Solo ball, Liam McNeely, they can get hot, but St. John's has been so fun to watch. They will lock teams up, and that's another team. Like if they get the right team, like if they play in Alabama in the Sweet 16 or an Elite 8, they can just bully them and play New York City basketball like they've been doing all year long. And with Bama, they just like to run and gun, shoot threes. They turn the ball over a lot, and St. John's is great at turning teams over. So that I think I would go St. John's. They got Rick Pitino, the Godfather himself. So I like St. John's of those 3 right there.
Yeah, I call Alabama Phi Slam Alabama. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of the way they play,
right?
And stuff. And what do you make? I never hardly ever get to see you, man. What do you make of Dan Hurley right now? What is I'm getting almost a sense that he's regretting he didn't make a move in the. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
the Lakers move he could have made. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's like he sees himself as a big fish in a small pond. I do believe right now, even though obviously what he's done is remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
But are we seeing a guy kind of find his own way here right in front of our eyes?
So I think what he's doing is great for the sport because college basketball needed a villain, and he's becoming that out of a coach. I think, if he took the Lakers job, he would have had to tone it down like what he's doing now.
Right.
So, we wouldn't be getting this same Dan Hurley, I think. We'd probably see it, in the press conferences and everything like that, but going after the officials. I was down when they played Xavier at the Centos, and every media timeout, he's walking to an official. There was an official was standing at the other end, and he went out to half court, and he's just having a staring contest with him, like a little Fran action right there, and he just has a staring contest, throws his hands up in the air, and then goes back to the huddle. So I like what he's doing for it. Just the roster build that they had this offseason they had a ton of pieces to replace. Right. So it was going to be tough to begin with. But I'm still confident because of what I love the way his sets, they are very crisp. They get points out of them almost every time. And they have the offensive firepower to still make some noise in the tournament.
Yeah, it's a team that's maturing right before our eyes.
Right.
Maybe coming to fruition.
Exactly.
That's what is intriguing me about him. And in the meantime, he's kind of, I don't know if this is if he's doing this on purpose, you know what I mean? Purposely taking sort of the pressure off of them.
Yeah.
And put it on himself. You know what I mean? I think he is that smart.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But in the NBA, like you're saying, you can have Adolph Rupp coaching an NBA team. If you don't have the guys, you don't have the
exactly.
I think that would have been a huge mistake for him, except maybe monetarily.
I think coming back was a great decision for him because he's becoming one of the best coaches in college basketball and in college basketball history. It's very rare to go back to back, and he did it, and it's very impressive to see.
We get out here on this one before we go to a break, but the current bracketology by Joe Lunardi on ESPN has Ohio State in a playing game, Indiana in a playing game, and a total of 11 Big Ten teams in the tournament among those. Mm-hmm. Over under 10.5 Big Ten teams when it's all said and done in the 68-team field.
You said he has 11 in there right now.
So I'm going to give you 10.5. Over under 10.5 Big Ten teams in the 68-team field.
I think they get 9.
So you think it's
I'm going to go
way under.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
too bad you can't bet that.
I know.
Way under.
Anything can happen. And one of these teams that are on the bubble, Ohio State, Indiana, Nebraska, they all play each other basically right here to finish the season.
Right.
And one of them is very capable of getting picked off in the tournament in their first game and really hinder their chances.
Reimer, thanks, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
At RimeTime05 on Twitter. Also, the Mad About Hoops podcast that airs every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock is great, and he is sick about it. But follow him on Twitter, by the way. Look, especially now, you're going to fill out brackets coming up very soon. Listen to what this man has to say. He knows his stuff, and by stuff, I mean the other S word that I can't say on the radio right now today. All right, that's it. Coming up next. Shenanigans. There we go. Will a certain coach who is famous for being a man of few words be featured on Hard Knocks? We'll do that next. Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Meet the new Monopoly Bonus Spectacular Scratch-Offs from the Ohio Lottery. Scratch off greenhouses to reveal winning numbers for a chance at over $113 million in total cash prizes. That's a spectacular amount of winnings. 5 games from $1 to 20. Multipliers from 5 to 100 times. Chance bonuses and top prizes up to $1 million. When you play the Monopoly Bonus Spectacular Scratch-Offs, what you find under a greenhouse could change everything. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
President's Day savings all month long at your main Honda of Dublin. If you're searching for a Honda lease deal here in Central Ohio, you've come to the right place. Leasing allows you to enjoy flexibility in one of their sharp, reliable, awesome vehicles. I'm confident Rich and his team can tailor a lease that's right for you. Like a 2025 CRV LX all-wheel drive for $349 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $19.99 down. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
Are you turning 65? Are you looking for Medicare Advantage coverage? Great news! The Ohio State Health Systems and Mount Carmel Health Systems are in our provider network. Aetna has Medicare Advantage plans that include prescription drug coverage with a $0 monthly plan premium. Plus, the plans include benefits like dental, vision, and hearing. Call Aetna today at 1-888-76-AETNA to learn more. One of our licensed agents will answer your call. Call today, 1-888-76-AETNA. Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Our D-SNPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area. Participating healthcare providers are independent contractors and are neither agents nor employees of Aetna. The availability of any particular provider cannot be guaranteed, and provider network composition is subject to change. Other physicians, providers are available in our network.
Rise and shine, jabronis.
Quite a show this morning.
There's only one place where Buckeye legends lay the smackdown. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekday mornings starting at 6.
Give me a juice box, Biatch.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Hey friends, Beamer here. And last week I told you I'd be down 50 pounds. And guess what? I was right. Not only did I hit it, I blew past it. I'm now down 53 pounds, all thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. Another 4.5 pounds last week alone. And I'm barely 3 months into the program. Some plans have you drop 4 or 5 pounds in 1 week, but still to be losing like this 12 weeks in, that's pretty wild. And you know what? Honestly, it's been pretty easy. No workouts, no skipping out on life, no injections. I lost 53 pounds by just eating to lose weight with Awaken 180. That's it. I listen to my coach, make a few adjustments here and there, and keep watching the number on the scale drop every week. Maybe you're rocking a size 55 pant and want to see a 48 again. Maybe you're rocking a 44 pant and want to see a 38 again. Maybe you're swimming in triple XLs and thinking about life in an XL. Trust me, you can do it. Awaken 180 is simple, the coaches are awesome, and there's really no work involved. You can make the call today, 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It might be the start of meteorological spring on March 1st, however, feeling more like winter, as daytime highs will struggle to get above the freezing mark. We'll be right around 32 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and there will be chances of flurries and isolated snow showers, which eventually those chances tapering off as we go into later tonight. But overnight, partly cloudy skies and teens for the low. And then getting into your Sunday, more sunshine with temperatures right around 35 degrees and a lot less wind. Stay warm, everybody. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Thank you to Jacob Bryan for joining us in the last segment. Dude, I'm telling you, he knows his stuff. Even though he's wearing an NIT sweatshirt. Well, it says North Carolina, but NIT is what it is. A couple of housekeeping things here. Noon to 3 o'clock today. Stadium Series pregame with Eric Reeser, Tyvis Powell, and Ryan Baker live from the shipping container just outside the Ozone. And as I said before, I hope they're cold and there's no heaters. But that's noon to 3. Check them out. And I'm not sure. We'll ask them later on. We'll talk to them in the final segment if Tyvis is giving out free hugs again today. From 3 to 5 o'clock, Stadium Series pregame with Anthony Rothman and Jeff Rimmer live from the shipping container just outside the Ozone. 5 o'clock, we have an hour-long pregame live from the Shoe. And then 6 o'clock, face-off, Jackets against the Red Wings. Also, Tim.
Yes.
In the chat, Gino says, Tim May. Do you follow the chat? You read it all or not? You're not looking at it, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, good. This is all just right off the cuff. Tim May.
Don't say it if it's something bad about me.
You are... No, I'm just kidding. A couple of years ago, when you and Coach Meyer were starting your podcast, you had some encouraging words. And I graduate this May with a degree in sports journalism. Thank you.
Wow.
The impact of Tim
May. I get 10% of his career from here on?
Gino, he wants 10% going forward. Somebody else also thought Achilles.
Nice to hear from you, Gino.
Yes, and Tim, I will tell you, yes. And by the way, something I've done. I don't know if anyone else has ever done this. Tim, you can tell me right now. I think I am one of one. Has anybody else ever covered a soccer game with you in the press box? Was that the only way you did that crew game we went to?
Maybe. Craig Mers?
Okay.
You know Craig Mers.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't be there together, though.
Well, yeah, I think.
I was there. I was streaming for the Tampa. I was streaming. What's the word I'm looking for? I was stringing.
Freelancing.
Freelancing for the Tampa Bay Tribune.
Streaming. Yeah, you were streaming.
I was streaming. All right. That's fine. The Tampa Bay Tribune.
Yeah.
You were there, covered the Dispatch at Ohio Stadium.
Yeah.
And you and I covered a 0-0 soccer game. Have you ever covered a game other than that for the crew?
Oh, I thought have I ever been more excited covering a game?
No,
I thought that's what you were going to say. No, I've never been less excited.
Thank you.
No, I don't know, man. Dude, that's all a blur to me.
Because of Tito or because of soccer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I knew Tito was there. You always knew Tito was there.
You nailed that one there.
Tito's vodka.
Anyway, okay, so
you missed a bet there, didn't you?
I did. Look, I'm telling. If Tito's vodka, I don't know why.
You could have owned it.
I don't know why somebody from Tito's vodka is not. I am not popular, but I'm still somewhere, and I am popular adjacent. Let's put it that way.
Ever since the fall of Yugoslavia, you've had a tough.
It's been tough
time of it.
It's been tough for me. Let me ask you this, Tim. Would it surprise you to know that Bill Belichick in North Carolina are going to be on Hard Knocks?
No, it would not.
Why not? Bill Belichick doesn't talk to anybody.
I will
He
tell
never
you
did it with the
something.
Patriots.
But you know what? I think they had Hard Knocks. I know at least once with the Patriots. I remember
don't think they ever did
I think
they?
that was the one where he never could figure out how to change the clock on his import automobile, expensive import. He never could. And I think the final thing was him sitting in the parking lot in the dark just before sunup, looking at his entertainment info center
right
in the middle of his dashboard, still trying to figure out how to change the clock on his expensive import. But no, I'm pretty sure they were on because I remember watching it. And I've always been intrigued by Bill Belichick because you know what? When he's not coaching, he's sort of a different dude. Well, now we did try to talk to him when he came and talked to the Ohio State coaches clinic many years ago. The thing they put on in the spring during spring football.
Yeah.
And he didn't want anything to do with any kind of interview. So, that's his prerogative. But he still put on an incredibly interesting talk in that thing. I remember when he came and he talked to that same body back in 80. It was when he was first named the head coach of the Browns, and he actually did. Right. I did an interview with him, and he was excellent. I mean, he was introspective and very smart. You could tell he was going to go places. I think I predicted then he'd win six or seven Super Bowls. No, I'm just joking. But the bottom line is he was fun to talk to then. I mean, he was very straightforward and stuff. But, yeah, I could see – I think he's an interesting dude. He's, from the standpoint of he's droll, D-R-O-L-L, but it's a droll sense of humor.
I'm writing
you know
that
what
one
I mean?
down.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's the correct word even.
Put it on the bingo card.
But he's very interesting in the sense of what he's thinking about at any moment. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
there are a lot of thoughts going through his head.
Droll.
And plus, who isn't intrigued on seeing his romantic relationship right now and how that really is on a day-to-day basis? What's up with that?
With his college student girlfriend. Droll is curious or unusual in a way that provokes dry amusement.
There you go.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
More big words. Not really big word because it's only got 5 letters, but still, I'll take it as disrespect. That I
also wrote down there are too many people in the soup from earlier in the show.
You can be a big word. You can be what I call a hand grenade word where you're small, but when you pop.
That droll was big.
You pop.
And it threw me off.
Like terse.
Yeah.
Terse is another one. Yes, that's a great word also. But yeah, it threw me off because I wasn't sure what it meant. I would have just said dry.
Mm-hmm.
But you are more
well,
you're smarter than I am.
He kind of talks like this,
Yes.
I mean, except without this accent.
He's a writer. He's good with words.
He's great. I was a writer too, but that's okay. Don't worry about it.
On to Cincinnati.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's what he's going to be saying a lot, I think, this coming season.
He sounds like the sweatshirts he wears.
Yeah.
That's how dry he is.
I like that.
Like if the sweatshirt could talk, it would say what Bill Belichick says.
Somebody ought to start that line, the belly. B-E-L-I line.
Someone will steal that too, like Tito's vodka, like they did for me also. Coming up next, in 2 minutes, by the way, he's our golf betting expert. If you listened to him last week, you are one lucky sob, which means S-O-B, which is a cuss word, but I'm not going to say it. We will talk to John Gerber next. Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
Meet the new Monopoly Bonus Spectacular scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. Scratch off greenhouses to reveal winning numbers for a chance at over $113 million in total cash prizes. That's a spectacular amount of winnings. 5 games from $1 to 20. Multipliers from 5 to 100 times. Chance bonuses and top prizes up to $1 million. When you play the Monopoly Bonus Spectacular scratch-offs, what you find under a greenhouse could change everything. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more of the good life to your life so you can bring home more perfectly plump and flavorful produce picked for precise freshness, beautifully marbled beyond brag-worthy certified Angus beef, and more must-have money-saving M-Perks rewards. Because saving more on local favorites is good, but bringing home more of what you love in every trip, that's the good life. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
All right, Fan Sports Saturday. Tim May, Tito. We also have C-Bart. Black Bart, as
C-Bart Run.
Tim calls him. C-Bart Run. We are now joined. We're going to be joined now on the Bryant Heating Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline with our good friend John Gerber. He is the host of From the Rough podcast, the most popular golf podcast in the state of Ohio. He is also so he's with FanStream Sports and writes for Athlon Sports. Gerb, good morning to you. Yeah, it's still good morning to you. You had a great week last week with your picks, right?
We had a solid week. Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, we had a solid week. 3 weeks in a row, we were profitable to get us on the good side of the margin there, and we did hit on a matchup to get us to 12-4-2. So yeah, we're getting on some good trends right now, and this is the week, and this is kind of the month that I really like going into the Florida Swing, and we're looking really solid and going into the third round down there in West Palm Beach.
What was that matchup that got you going?
Last week, last week, who did we have last week? We had Ben Griffin last week, who played really solid. We had him in the third round, just around 3. We didn't like anything on the fourth round, but our matchup's been really, really solid. Again, nothing today, but we're gonna watch the coverage today and see if we can get some good matchups again for tomorrow.
Man, when you watch golf now, man, I watch almost every tournament. This is Tim May, by the way. I watch almost every tournament. I'm a volunteer at the U.S. Open. I mean, I love golf, and but then you look and you see this. What is Rakuya Hoshino? You know, he's going low today. You know, he's like I think -7 on his round today and stuff. It's almost like watching on Saturday through Sunday now. It's like watching the stretch run of a highly competitive Kentucky Derby anymore, isn't it, man? I mean, anybody can emerge.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are so good. I mean, anybody on the PGA Tour can really win. I mean, you look at 20, 30 years ago, you had probably 30% of the field that could really win. But you're looking at a day like today, and, you know, on tour stuff, they call it moving day. So they're going to set up the golf course that they want some really low scores. But comparative to the first couple of days, I mean, this golf course isn't that easy. Trust me, it's not that easy. And they're making it look easy. The weather is all predicated on everything down there. I mean, the cut this week was 5 under, and if you look, you know, in the past, you would get 6 under would win the golf tournament. So, you know, the weather and the wind hasn't really picked up like it's supposed to. That's why it's yielding some of these really low scores.
John Gerber joins us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. He is with Fans Free Sports, host of From the Rough podcast, writes for Athlon Sports as well. Follow him on Twitter at JGerber, PGA Pro. Gerb, I have been the guy. I've been the guy who
I thought you had just been the guy.
I haven't been the guy. No, Gerber's the guy. I'm the guy behind the guy behind the guy. But Gerber is, so he will tell you, and this is true, if you follow the system, if you follow the device, he's positive every year on his picks, every single year. If you pick and choose, sometimes you won't win, and then you can screw yourself up. I did not listen to you last week. This week I did not. The week before I did, and it wasn't a great week, but I need to follow you all the time. You are in a good spot right now because you've got guys. You had Russell Henley at 19-1 to win. You had Ben Griffin as a ham sandwich to win at 45-1, right? Keith Mitchell's doing well too. You got in the top 10. It's shaping up to be a banner week for you.
Yeah, potentially it could be really good. Again, you know, I appreciate you not watching last week.
I know. Tyvus doesn't watch it.
Every time you watch golf, you jinx me. So thank you for not watching last week, and thank you for not watching this week. Can I buy you dinner somewhere out of town with no TV? So that would be great.
Just send me money, Gerb. I'll go have dinner somewhere. Yeah.
No, we're looking really solid again this week. Like I said, you know, Keith Mitchell, it's really difficult to pick him in terms of winning a golf tournament, but he's a top 20, top 10 machine. He just has that talent. And Ben Griffin coming off some of the really good stretch run that he had in Mexico and saying and telling everybody how he feels comfortable in Bermuda grass and the Florida Swing. So that really lended us to really picking them. And look at a guy that we've touted over the last couple of years. It's really just now getting healthy. Sits there at 10 under, Taylor Montgomery. Yeah. He's made 1 bogey in 36 holes, and he's birdied every single par 5 in 36 holes. So he's a guy to look out for, a guy that we really like, and he's going to win this year. And he's finally healthy. He fits that mold of hitting it very far and one of the best putters on PGA Tour. So maybe he'll make a little bit of a move today.
Hey, how would you describe Cashmere Keith though? Keith Mitchell. He's almost like a big tease a little bit, isn't he? I mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean, in terms of getting right there and then not quite getting over the hump.
Yeah, he's a bit. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. He's a bit of a tease. I mean, he's a bit like Johnny Vegas, right? You know, you never bet Johnny Vegas in places that have good-looking women because he's always out there. You know, so you look at things like that. You know, you don't really bet Keith when there's places that things that he likes to do, and you know, with the wine, he's a big wine guy.
Oh,
so, yeah. You kind of look at those things and. You know, he's so talented, but his win was there in Honda when it was the old Honda, so he did win. That was his only win on the PGA Tour, so he likes that golf course. But again, he's just so talented. I'm not sure he has that dog mentality that he really needs to, you know, kind of win, but he certainly has the talent.
But man, if he could get over the top, I mean, you know, maybe a little more consistent play on Sundays, for example, and stuff, I think he would be such an attractive dude from the standpoint of you know, wanting to talk to him. He's a great interview. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, you got a guy like Jake Knapp, you know, who can just crush it, but you never know what's going to come from him from one round to the next, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Jake Knapp. If he drives the ball well, he's one of the longest on the PGA Tour, and it sets up for a lot of those, you know, short irons and mid irons into par fives when those other guys are potentially hitting woods. But he can shorten the golf course if he's driving it well. He's a little bit like Rory when it comes to that. When Rory's driving the golf ball well, no one can beat him. So, you know, with Keith, he's a great driver of the golf ball. Also, we kind of tailored our picks this week in guys who really drive it well, and he was one of those guys also, Keith Mitchell. But Keith is a guy that you just want to go out and have some fun with, but when he's playing golf, it looks like he's just going through the motions and doesn't have a lot of fire into him. But I know he does internally. But he's just very difficult. You know, he's a very difficult guy to pick to win, but he's a great guy to pick in that top 10, top 20 spots because he's so talented.
So, Gerb, I know you obviously, there's a lot of numbers that play into this, the weather, all these different things, the type of course, all these things play into your picks, which is why you do such a damn good job at your betting. I'm curious, is there a swing, like the Florida, the West Coast swing, whatever, or is there a particular tournament where you feel more confident going into it, like you feel like I am for sure going to nail this tournament? It is the best one for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, this whole stretch, the Florida swing for sure. I mean, you put the wind, you know, we're not going to get it this week, but wind is certainly a factor that you're going to see this time of year in Florida. So this is just a weird week with no wind, 15-mile-an-hour wind today. But, you know, this stretch, I really start to heat up just because I know the golf courses. I've played those golf courses living in Florida for so long. And I know the guys that play well there. And the guys who play well are the guys who putt very good on Bermuda greens, old Bermuda greens, and that can drive the ball well and don't mind playing in the wind. So this is a stretch that we really like. This is, for me, is just kind of the start of the season when it comes to betting. And a lot of guys feel the same way when it comes to kind of getting their PGA Tour kind of season off to a pretty good start.
Hey, instead of asking about a particular golfer, et cetera, I wanted to ask you, the more popular you get, you know what I mean? And you know how popular you are and your podcast is. Do you feel more and more pressure every week to deliver? I mean, how does that play in your head, my man?
A little bit. You know, I am human. I don't like all the bad words and cuss words that people send me when I don't make money. But that's why it's important, and I stress this. There's going to be weeks that we don't do well. That's just the cost of what we do. But if you follow the system every single week, you're going to be profitable every single year. So don't pick and choose where to play, even if it's $1, $5, $10. It doesn't matter. Play the same through the board and play every single week if you're able to, and you'll be profitable. But yes, I do this. I do this because I enjoy doing it. We're good at it. It's just not me and the systems. I have a lot of people that can help me, and I make a lot of phone calls. So it is work. So if I'm putting my own money on the line also. So if I'm winning, I want everyone else to win also.
Are you paying more attention to the health of a player than anything else? What as a season goes along, and you're working out your your calls and stuff, is health the paramount thing for you?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, that's one of the factors that goes into it. I mean, there's a lot of things that you'd be surprised. And Tim, I know you've been around a long time and you have a lot of insight that, you can find out if the family life's not very good, right? Or if there's a lot of things that kind of go into it. But we go on the basis of past history a lot in terms of, horses for courses is a lot of things that we kind of go into. Guys tend to have a tendency to play events that fit their game and that they play well and they are comfortable. So that is certainly one of the main factors we go into. But through the year, certainly health is a factor that we put in, and we can make some calls to see who's healthy or not. It helps us a lot.
And with that in mind, Ricky Fowler, where does he fit right now in your thinking? You understand what I'm saying? He looks just, again, like somebody in search of something, because clearly he's got the game. Just give me your take on him.
I think, with Ricky, I mean, he's ultra talented. I think life's got in the way a little bit outside of golf. He makes so much money outside of golf. He probably makes more money, besides Rory and Tiger. He's probably the third leading with the social media and all that stuff, which is great for him. Having a family now, some of those things probably got in the way. Ricky's a guy that you want to see him play well. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
It's just, maybe he just doesn't have the drive and determination that he used to get where he really needs to be, just because, there's so much money out there. And these guys, a 20-place finish these days was like winning a PGA Tour event 15 years ago.
Yeah,
20 years ago.
I tell you, man. These days, I mean, I like watching Grant Horvat, on YouTube. And those guys, I mean, it's funny how the entertainment you can get from golf now that you couldn't get 10 years ago, right?
It's evolved, certainly. I mean, even the guys like that, all the social media guys, the Bryan brothers, they're so talented.
Oh, yeah,
when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Anything that can bring attention and audience to the game, I'm all for. I think with the live stuff probably going to kind of come together now. I think that's going to help the game in terms of getting more of the higher end players. Everybody wants to see Bryson and Koepka in these events, and I think it's going to happen sooner than later, and certainly at the PGA or I think sooner probably at the Masters before anything else.
Tim, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Do you know what happens in 2026?
What?
Do you know what happens in 2026? Significant to golf.
Oh, significant to golf.
Here we go. Here we go again.
I finally break.
Cider Country Club.
Oh.
Cider Country Club has the U.S. Senior Open.
Oh yeah.
And Gerb's going to be in it.
Oh wow.
Right,
I covered the one helped cover the one in 1986. Did long stories there, but good for you, my man.
It's not that easy. He wants to continue to say I'm going to be in it, but there is a They're just not going to let me walk in, Tim. I promise you. So
I brought my bag. I got a caddy. Let me play.
He's a golf pro.
I covered the qualifier there several years ago, and stuff. And I think one of the guys that got in, actually just passed away. He was a caddy on tour.
That's not
also.
great news when we're talking about Gerb playing.
No, I know, but that's the thing about the senior. I remember running around there with Charlie Sifford. Yeah, he was in a golf cart and smoking his cigar. And I went 9 holes with him. I didn't play with him, but I mean, it was one of my favorite things of all time. I love the senior. I think that's a great place for the senior, except when it's 105 degrees or whatever it was the last time they were here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You've never seen so much sweating in your life.
It was hot, but there is a qualifying process, and I keep telling him every time 74, 75 doesn't get in that tournament. So
no.
I have to rethink my practice schedule. And certainly I'm not going to let him caddy for me, Tim.
Okay, I want the money. Let's go.
Well,
Tito, I'll
just give you the money not to. How about
I heard
that?
I get 17% of whatever you win. Is that right? Is 17% the right number for a caddy?
You think very highly of yourself if you get 17%.
I think 17% sounds about right.
Yeah, okay. Well,
this was so much fun.
We came off the real quick this weekend. Who do you like?
I think somebody's going to come a little bit in the middle of the pack. Like
Agree.
I said, I really like Taylor Montgomery. Watch out for a guy. When we start looking again, going into the weekend, par 5 scoring is very important when it comes to the weekend for these guys. So that is a key factor when we look in the weekend and reanalyze these guys. So again, look at a guy like Taylor Montgomery. Look at a guy that doesn't make a lot of mistakes in the Ben Griffin sitting there at 9 under par.
Yeah.
Keith Mitchell's going to get to probably 12 or 13, but he's going to finish T9th again. So that's going to help. That's going to help us.
Gerb, you're the man. Thanks so much, bud. Can we do it again tomorrow?
That would be great. I'd love to be on tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow again. We'll have you on again, and we'll do it. We'll see how you're doing your picks and everything. John Gerber, 2026 Senior U.S. Open champion, joining us right here. And at Jay Gerber PGA Pro, and also FanStream Sports with the From the Rough podcast, the most popular golf podcast in the state of Ohio. Gerb, thanks for the time, bud.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a good afternoon.
You bet. We'll talk again tomorrow. Coming up next, we're going to talk to the boys on campus that are out there after our show. Reeser and Baker and Tyvis Powell. We'll do that next. This is Fan Sports Saturday on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
This is a Craver service announcement. Stop what you're doing and get 10 cheese sliders for a new low price of just $7.99. Your choice of melty American, spicy jalapeno, or cheddar cheese. Only $7.99 for 10 cheese sliders. White Castle. Follow your crave.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
No matter where you are, Coughlin is there, in store or online. CoughlinCars.com. 13 new car brands, over 1,000 pre-owned vehicles, 16 convenient locations for sales, service, and parts, plus 4 state-of-the-art collision centers. CoughlinCars.com. Shop locally owned, CoughlinCars.com.
Coughlin has the car for you. I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is real simple and effective. It's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And betting reduced juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Use promo code JUSTSPORTS. Get a welcome bonus up to $100 and be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY, and when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community. Except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station. Except Bo. The Fan.
Men, this is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. The one you love is the light of your life. And if you're like most of us, you want to do whatever you can to nurture your relationship. But if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction, you know the impacts the condition is likely having on you and your partner. ED is a relationship destroyer. It can contribute to depression, distancing, conflicts, and even breakups and divorce. And what's so disturbing about this is that most men who suffer with ED can be successfully treated, but a lot of guys don't seek treatment when they should. At Tri-State Men's Health, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases. In fact, if you're like most guys, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and maybe find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. So call Tri-State Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
Save big money on everything for your next painting project right now at Menards. Beautify your home in one coat with Pittsburgh Grand Distinction Interior Paint. It's a premium paint and primer that offers excellent hide and coverage with a tough, resilient finish. Save big on Pittsburgh Paint. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford.
Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masterford.net. Thanks.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
You're damn right we don't shut up. By the way, coming up next after our show, at noon, Stadium Series pregame with Reeser, Tyvis Powell, Ryan Baker live from the shipping containers outside the Ozone. Then at 3 to 5 p.m., Stadium Series pregame with Rothman and Jeff Rimmer. Again, live from the shipping center just outside the Ozone. 5 o'clock, we've got a CBJ hour-long pregame live from the Shoe. 6 o'clock, face-off, Stadium Series, whatever the other sponsors' names are in that, but CBJ against the Red Wings.
So this is a big deal, huh?
Kind of a big deal. We are joined now on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System fan guest hotline, but not really because he's not calling. He's just in the system, but we have to say it anyway. Ryan Baker joins us. He will be on the show again, noon to 3 p.m. Baker, it says shipping container in the read. Does that mean you are indoors somewhere, or are you cold?
Well, it means that I am inside this shipping container that has the has like a garage door flap open.
Okay.
So we are wide open. I'm looking right at the French Field House in St. John Arena right now, and people walking by in their Blue Jackets and some in their Red Wings gear. By the way, Tito, great job out of you there getting all of that correct. The only thing you didn't have was Visit Central Florida. All of these great shows today sponsored by that.
Wow. A lot of people like
Visit
to do
Central
that.
Florida? That's not in my list.
Well,
Did I miss
it's in the email.
Fan reminders, 2025 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series. And then visit, what is it again, Central Florida?
Presented by Visit Central Florida.
Wow. And if you visit this weekend, you can drive down to Tampa and watch or to St. Pete and watch the opening IndyCar race. But I digress.
Of course,
Hey,
Tim May would bring that up.
Ryan, do y'all have heaters in that shipping container?
I have not seen a heater, but I don't need one. Like, this could be much worse today than it is right now. The wind is coming from behind our back, so it's kind of blocked. So
there you go.
I'm actually a little disappointed, Tito, that I didn't live the gimmick and wear the shorts.
So should have worn the shorts. That was also disappointing to me. And the fact you're not wearing a Yankees hat also tells me you're planning on going home right after the game by yourself. So where you're located at right now, you say you can see French Field, because people are going to come by and check it out and everything. People are going to be out there. So you're right across. You can see French Field House where you're at.
Yes, and right behind us, Tito, is the Honda pregame, where all of the festivities are getting underway here at noon. Tyler and I went over there. We shot a little video. I tried to hit the Ticketmaster bullseye. I was a little high on that, but I didn't think it was too bad for my first attempt in a long time with a hockey stick and a hockey ball. It was not a puck. It was one of those little roller balls. But there's a lot of stuff down here. There's been people down here probably since about 8 a.m. There's people over in the shoe parking lots tailgating right now. A lot of people here in the last hour that I've been here. A lot more foot traffic coming by and getting ready. There's a line over there at the Honda pregame for people to get in.
I'm trying to think here, Ryan, and it's totally off the top of my head, so forgive me if I've screwed this up. But as far as like events in Central Ohio in your lifetime, take away Ohio State football. Take all of that out of it. I know we've got the Memorial. We'll consider that also. But is this? We used to have the Columbus 500 race, whatever it was, for a couple years.
Mid-'80s.
Is this like one of the biggest events you can remember in Columbus?
Yeah, so I don't really remember those the Columbus 500 very much, and I don't remember the Ryder Cup in '87.
Okay, yep.
I think the Blue Jackets series against Tampa. Maybe the Blue Jackets when they made the postseason the first time in 2009, even though they got swept out of there. I know how crazy it was when they made it in 2014 in those games with the Penguins that were so classic. And then the Tampa sweep was just incredible. I remember we had the President's Cup up at Muirfield a few years ago. But, yeah, I mean, this is and especially being able to be here, Tito, the past couple of weeks and kind of see this thing progress, and then being here last night for practice with them. I mean, the NHL has done just such a great job of tying everything with the city and the Buckeyes involved with this game. And it was so cool being here last night when the Red Wings were practicing and the lights were on. Just a little preview of what we're going to get today. Like, I think this is one of those things where I don't think people are going to remember who won or lost this game. They're just going to remember this event.
Yeah, it's cool, though, that the game does mean something, right, Ryan? I mean, that's cool. I wanted to ask you this. I mean, maybe I should know this. Logistically, where are they using the football locker rooms as their locker rooms, or do they have some portable things set up closer to the ice?
Yeah, so the Blue Jackets are in the Ohio State locker room. We were in there last night getting audio after practice. Yeah, and they're going to walk down that tunnel and everything in skates. You saw them walk up that tunnel last night to get back there. So it is a little bit of a walk, but it's pretty cool. And I'll tell you what's going to be maybe the most cool emotional thing today is when they come out to the ice, they come down that tunnel, they're going to be led by Meredith Gaudreau and the kids, and that's going to be pretty special and pretty awesome.
That will be cool out there, so make sure you stick around for all this coverage here on The Fan. By the way, a couple things there, Baker, just so you know. I don't feel particularly good about being Andrew Ridgely to your George Michael. That's a Wham reference for people who are old, because we're the openers for you guys before Fan Sports Saturday takes over. Also, I want to make sure this happens. Anybody who comes by, Tyvis Powell is giving away free hugs, okay? Wow. And if you hug Tyvis Powell, and Baker, I want to make sure that you tell people this, because I'm sure you'll be a handler or somebody will be out there. If you hug Tyvis Powell, you have to whisper the name Tito in his ear when you do it.
I mean, that's stretching it a lot, Tito. I think you should just be happy you're here, personally. And I don't know about that. I'm sure Tyvis will be giving out hugs because he is just that kind of guy. He is super nice. But, I also don't know if I like you. Actually, no. You know what? I'd be lucky to be Tyvis Powell's handler. Let's say that.
All right, man. Have a great show. We'll talk to you soon.
You too, buddy. Can't wait for this.
Fan Sports Saturday next, live from Ohio State, right here on The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You know, as much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 or free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Who are the people that serve part-time in the Ohio Army National Guard? We are your neighbors and friends. We are your sons and daughters. Our service is providing us valuable job skills, and it pays up to 100% of our tuition. We're proud to serve our state. We are your Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with the Ohio Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/OH.
Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard. Aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
What does living your best nonstop life mean to you? Cheering on your team at that big game? A music festival with friends? A family vacation? Or maybe a vacation from your family? Live your best nonstop life with low fares and nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com.
Non-stop flights from Columbus to Fort Lauderdale, one way for as low as $44. Must be purchased by 4/24/2025 for travel between 3/13/2025 and 8/17/2025. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. As football winds down, college basketball is gearing up, and fans are ready to see which teams will prove they are ready to shine in March and who will be seen in San Antonio. You can get on all the action from tip-off to the final whistle at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Right now, new ESPN Bet Sportsbook customers can bet $10 and get $100 back in bonus bets and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the app. Sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and